Tonight we feature a matchup of two teams with championship pedigrees. The Blount Leopards have been playing football since 1957 and own 5 state titles, while across the field, the Spanish Fort Toros into just their 15th year of existence, and they have 4 titles to call their own. Let's just put it this way. When it comes to winning, these two teams definitely know how to do it. Good evening and welcome to the MCPSS High School Football pregame show, brought to you by Bishop State. I'm Al Wheaton, he's Corey LeBounty. Corey, it is senior night here at Harris Terry Stadium, and the Leopards are excited.
We're going to have a great turnout. It's going to be an outstanding football game when you start looking at the implications in region play and what this game means. It's a beautiful October night. It's hard to believe we're already into 8 weeks of high school football. But again, Al, when you start talking about these two matchups, these two teams are known throughout the entire state of Alabama,
right,
football-wise, when you mention their name.
I mean, like the rappers say, put some respect on it. You got to do that with Blount, and you've got to do it with Spanish Fort. As I said, the school's been in existence 15 years, and they have 4 state titles already. Corey, they've been to the state championship game back-to-back the past 2 years.
When you start talking about 6A Region 1, we call it the SEC West because of how competitive it is.
Right.
Spanish Fort has come up a little bit short the last couple of years in trying to win that state championship, but it's great that you have representation because they put the rest of the state on notice. When you start talking about big boy football, they have to go through Blount, they have to go through Saraland, they have to go through Spanish Forts, and all these teams in the same region. It just speaks to the great coaching ability of these coaches every week, having to bring it week in and week out.
That's right. We're excited about it. So, Corey, let's get to your checklist for this ball game. It is huge tonight. Who do you have up for Spanish Fort? What's your checklist for the Toros?
Toro takeaways. This defense is only giving up 13.3 points per game, but they want to try to rip the ball away from this Blount Leopard team. Also, they want to defend the pass better. They were defeated 1 week ago against Saraland. They were the #1 team in the state of Alabama before they took that loss, but they want to make sure that they defend it better. Establish the run game. They want to get a heavy dose of that tonight and be able to open up that playbook offensively. And when you start talking about the Blount Leopards, they must put away the penalties. That old dirty rag, as Santee Gamble made famous here in Pritchard, Alabama. They want to make sure that the referees pocket those yellow flags tonight. Stop the running game of Spanish Fort. It's a mirror image. One team wants to run it, the other team has to stop it. And also special teams play for this Blount Leopards team is going to be very critical in flipping the field. And if you're able to score, being able to put yourself in field goal or extra point situations.
All right, we're going to check back in on your checklist later on during the contest. Right now, we need to take it down to the field and check in with Kimberly Dunn. Give us an idea with the BSN weather forecast. What's going on, Kim?
Hey guys, it is feeling great on this field right now. We are feeling temperatures at 78 degrees, and through the night it's going to gradually get lower, going all the way down to 71. It's got clear skies and a very slight wind, but that humidity, that's what gets us every time. We're starting at 59% at 7 o'clock, but it goes all the way up to 80% by the time the game is done. So hopefully that won't be too much of a factor for these players.
Kim, I hear this game may have international proportions. I've heard that the International Space Station might make a visit here for the game tonight. Corey, what's going on with that, Kim?
That's right. We are expecting to see the International Space Station Expedition 65, and it could be flying right over your head, so you might want to duck. It's supposed to be coming in about 10 minutes, and the mission began in April, and so they've still been in orbit during that time, and it's coming from the northwest and traveling southeast, so we may get a glimpse of it this evening.
All right, Kim, we'll be sure to be on the lookout for that. Corey, speaking of being on the lookout, we need to talk about your impact players for this ball game tonight. Who's going to be looking to make an impact for both teams?
For the Spanish Fort Toros, you talk about Brandon Bird, their quarterback. He's a junior, and he's a gunslinger, folks. When he has an opportunity to put the ball on the numbers, 1 year ago as a sophomore, again, found himself in a state championship game as a sophomore. So you watch him throw the football tonight with accuracy. Also, defensive lineman Jabril Snowden. This young man is going to control the line of scrimmage. Blount's probably going to have to put 2 hats on this young man. We'll be calling his name very frequently. You look at the impact players for the Blount Leopards. wide receiver Myron Dunklin. This sophomore is very explosive, and Blount has the opportunity to stretch the field vertically with this young man's explosiveness. And cornerback / wide receiver Ty Beverly. He had 4 interceptions in one game a couple of weeks ago. So this young man has 6 interceptions on the season. He plays both cornerback and wide receiver. He's being honored tonight for senior night. His dad, John Beverly, here to watch him play. So look forward to Ty Beverly putting on the show tonight for the Blount Leopards.
Yeah, we'll be calling his name on both sides of the ball. Corey, you talked about it earlier, how we like to call the 6A Region 1 right here, the SEC West. If we get a chance, let's put up those Region 1 standings here for 6A and just kind of look at how tight things are for the teams that are in 6A Region 1, because we know tonight is senior night for Blount, and we know that is very huge for them because they only have 2 ball games remaining. They have a bye on the last week. So it is really huge if we're able to kind of take a peek at the 6A Region 1 standings. I believe we think we may be able to get it up here in a second, but the implications that ensue, Corey, are real huge for both of these teams. There they are right there.
Absolutely. Saraland sitting at the top with that upset over the Spanish Fort Toros 1 week ago at 4-0. McGill-Tulane has come on strong. They lost that first football game of the season. They're 5-2 overall, but region-wise, 4-1, and right there is the logjam when you start talking about Spanish Fort being 3-1, Gulf Shores 2-2,
right.
Blount being 2-2. That's why this is a must-win for the Blount Leopards tonight.
It really is, because this is an 8-team region, so you're going to have 7 region games, and Blount has remaining on their schedule. They have to play McGill and they have to play Gulf Shores, and Corey, look right there sitting with them at 2-2 is Gulf Shores. If you think back a couple of years ago, Corey, back in 2018, remember the Baldwin County Tigers went 6-4 and missed the playoff due to a tiebreaker because they were 4-4 in region play.
All the losses that the Tigers ensued were all in their own region.
Right.
And that just goes to speak to how tough this region is. When you move Daphne up to 7A, it didn't get any easier when you moved McGill-Tulane down. So, again, the football that's being played in 6A Region 1 is second to none across the entire state of Alabama.
Very huge reason. That's why we call it the SEC West right here in Lower Alabama. Also for tonight for Saraland, we know, not for Saraland, for Spanish Fort, we know they had a tremendous loss last week with one of their players, Carl Fantroy's, out with the torn ACL, and coming in to replace him is Jalen Mason. And when I looked at my depth chart, Corey, I noticed it's similar to the Mason-Dixon line. You got 2 Masons and 2 Hicksons. JoJo Hickson and Zachariah Hickson are brothers, and Josh Mason, Jalen Mason are cousins. So it's kind of playing against the Mason-Hickson line tonight for the Blount Leopards.
We'll see how close they can keep that defense, because it's going to be essential for them to stop this passing game, and we'll see if Blount decides to attack early.
All right, we do appreciate you for joining us for the MCPSS pregame kickoff show. Headed your way, we have the kickoff, brought to you by Bishop State.
What's the matter, baby? You're not feeling good?
School-aged children are at a higher risk of getting and spreading germs and viruses. To help protect the spread, students are encouraged to stay home when sick. Parents, it's important for your child to remain at home at least 24 hours after they no longer have a fever of 100 degrees or higher without the use of medications. Please help us maintain a healthy learning environment.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
The 2021 high school regular season is nearing an end with teams still jockeying for playoff position. For the Blount Leopards, they control their own fate. A win tonight gets them one step closer to making the tournament. But for Spanish Fort, a win is necessary to maintain the #2 spot in the region en route to securing a home playoff game. Down here, we call it the SEC West, and tonight you will see why with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State. Thanks for joining us. I'm Al Whedon along with Cora LeBounty. On the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. And Cora, we have the fireworks going off tonight because we've literally waited 2 years for this game to occur on the network, Corey.
Absolutely. It wound up being a Friday night game that was moved to a Saturday morning game a couple of years ago, and that's a game that Blount was able to secure. And because of it, they had a better region standing than the Spanish Fort Toros, but the Toros found themselves in the state championship game. And you mentioned the Toros representing 6A Southern Region the last 2 years in the state championship game. So this game has a great atmosphere, a great feel, as you can hear the fireworks going off, and we're celebrating senior night here at Harris Terry Stadium in Pritchard, Alabama.
Looking real great. Matter of fact, Corey, I can't recall, but that may be a new scoreboard here at Harris Terry Stadium. I can't recall the last time we were here on campus, but the crowd is very excited. It's senior night, and very, very enthusiastic about welcoming Spanish Fort here tonight. You just talked about it a couple years ago. We had one of those October tropical depression slash hurricane slash, I think I'm going to stay at the house, but let's be careful, and they moved the game to Saturday on us. So this is literally our first time having the Spanish Fort Toros on the broadcast, and they are a very, very well-coached team and program, and we're going to be featuring them tonight along with the Blount Leopards. Very excited about this ball game coming up.
Absolutely, and we'll get a chance to see the speed of the Toros immediately, as if Godfrey or Reed are able to return this kick, we'll see the special teams play be effective immediately.
Jake Godfrey trying to pick up that kickoff, takes it up the middle, and he's going to be tackled about the 25-yard line. Take a look at the Spanish Fort offense. The Toros are led by junior quarterback Brendan Bird. He's a 57% passer with 9 touchdowns, just 1 interception on the year. He can run it as well. He scored 4 times on the ground. Speaking of running, the Toros have a 1,000-yard back from last year. Senior flanker Johnny Morris. He's a bruiser, averages 9 yards a carry. When they pass, look for them to go to junior H-back Jake Godfrey. He's the Toros' leading receiver with 13 yards per grab. Bird will also try to hook up with Trayvon Reed and tight end Cooper Wilson. Across the line, they average 291 pounds. And as Morris takes that carry, Corey, we have our first penalty of the ball game.
Not surprised to see the penalty flag come out, but Quintarius Hannon on the stop, the 5'11", 190-pound senior, and there's going to be a holding out of the box called against the Spanish Fort Toros, so that's going to put them behind the sticks down in distance-wise.
Still first down.
And Corey, if I'm correct, isn't that our buddy Mike Becton from last week? We had him for LaFleur and BC Rain.
But getting it done as the White Hat, a veteran official, and look forward to go ahead and seeing his crew do a wonderful job tonight.
Bird rolls out to his left. He is left-handed. That pass incomplete. It's going to take Spanish Fort to second down and try to get it to Cam Jackson there.
Yeah, Cameron Jackson, the 6'3", 180-pound junior, has 6 receptions on the season. And as you mentioned, they roll Brandon Bird to his left, and that is his strong side because he is left-handed. But now you're in a second down and close to 20 yards to go situation.
Hand off to Morris once again. Starts at the right, brings it back up to the middle, picks up a couple of yards. I don't believe he's to the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to be 3rd and maybe about 12 or 13 coming up here for the Toros.
This Blount defense is very active, and they're led by defensive coordinator Donald Wallace. They're only giving up 12 points per game, and that's just a great stop by this Blount Leopard defense. Chris Cashin III, 6 foot, 218-pound senior with the stop.
So we'll call about 3rd and 12. Jackson goes into motion. Little play action. Bird slipped on his back foot as he planted, and Corey, a flag comes in from Mike Becton. That might be a penalty against the Leopards.
And if it's right at the quarterback's feet, maybe hands to the face of the quarterback is what I'm thinking. It either has to be that or a hold in the area in which the flag was thrown.
It looks like we have a face mask as Becton is alerting both coaches. There's our officiating crew tonight: Mike Becton, Charlie Shipp, Claude Moffitt, Michael Rogers, Dario Thames, Bradley Simpson, and Lyman Collins. So Spanish Fort will benefit just a 5-yard face mask, not the 15-yard variety. So that's going to make it about 3rd and 8 coming up. Blount's calling it 3rd and 7 here at Harris Terry Stadium. Bird slips again, once again, Corey. We know that the field is not in the best condition here. I'm going to say it, I have never seen Ludgood Field looking this bad, Corey.
It's just a lot of divots. And,
it really is.
And there's not a lot of rain, but it's hard to get your footing within these divots that are on the field, and because of it, you're going to have a very clean pocket, and he's going to have to take his time to get his feet underneath him to make that throw.
Bird is also the punter for Spanish Fort. That gives you another element of surprise on 4th down, so we'll monitor that tonight. Cartel Washington setting up at his own 35-yard line. Corey throws left but kicks with his right leg. Look at there. Washington takes it off the bounce. I like that word, Corey. Ambidextrous. So our look at the Blount offense as they come on to the field. Led by senior quarterback Freddie Davis. Davis is a 57% passer. He's thrown for more than 1,000 yards, has 6 interceptions but 7 touchdowns on the season. One of his main targets, the impact player you talked about, Myron Dunklin, averaging 15 yards a catch. Also, sophomore running back Deshaun Williams, he's going to lead the Leopards ground game. He's rushed for nearly 700 yards, has 5 scores. Up front, the offensive line, they've gone through some changes this year. Senior Bruce Crenshaw is going to anchor that young group. They average 287 pounds across the front. Davis just going to keep that one with the RPO, and that goes nowhere. He is down. That's not a fumble.
You know, when you decide to go ahead and pull the football, Tashawn Calvin, the 5'9", 180-pound senior on the stop for the Spanish Fort Toro defense. Not a lot of yardage. It's going to be important for the Blount Leopard offensive line to get a great push. It's not going to be a negative yardage situation. It's just going to be a 1-yard gain on the play.
So home field advantage working to Davis's advantage. Play action. He's stuck in the middle, Corey, and he is sacked, brought down by the Toros.
Cole McConaughey, the 6'6", 220-pound sophomore, comes from his linebacker position, and he closes in as that pocket collapses, and you have to be lucky that that's not a turnover in that situation. Freddie Davis has to get out of that pocket a little bit quicker. Now, it'll be interesting to see how quick and how mobile his feet are when he starts to feel that pocket collapse as this game goes along. Does he get antsy, or does he stand in there and make the solid throw?
We will find out if the turf monster will make an appearance tonight. Hand off to Deshaun Williams. Up the middle he goes. He has room. Nice run by Williams. He may have enough to pick up the first down.
Great job by the offensive line up front. As you look at this replay, and Williams, when he gets past the line of scrimmage, he knows exactly what to do, and he slipped up and tripped. But Peyton Daly-Locke, Rodarius Lacey, Bruce Crenshaw, Quentin Timmons, and Kyle Pugh paving the way for the big running back who has over 6 touchdowns on the season.
Roderick Talden had to come in and take that snap because when Davis was sacked, he lost his helmet, had to go out for one play. Take a look at the Spanish Fort defense. Now the Toros actually play a 4-2-5 up front. Junior offensive tackle Yorrell Williams, he's going to try to clog up the middle with his 6'4" frame. Also senior road backer Tashawn Calvin, he's going to provide extra secondary coverage at times. Then the secondary strong safety JoJo Hickson, he's going to be a name we'll call a lot tonight. He's one of the Toros' leading tacklers. And senior Jalen Mason, he's going to step up to play free safety. Up front, the Toros average 268 pounds across their defensive line. Davis rolls out to the left, crosses the midfield stripe, and picks up the first down as he is knocked out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of the Toros. Nice game by Freddie Davis.
Freddie Davis has 26 rushes on the season for only 120 yards, but very wisely decided to go ahead and keep that football and pick up another Blount Leopard first down. So far in positive in Toro territory are the Blount Leopards on their opening drive right here at the 41-yard line.
They're right in front of us as we stand atop the press box here at Harris-Terry Stadium. Al Whedon, Coralie Bounty on the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn, we'll be checking in with her. I think she'll have some information to share about possibly one of the Spanish Fort players' impact that young man was having. Lost him last week to an ACL, Carl Fontroy. I saw him before the game, Corey, on his crutches but during pregame as the Toros warmed up.
Calvin on the stop for the Toros again. Again, this young man's being very active, has 9 tackles on the season, but Blount quickly goes to the line of scrimmage.
Second and about 6 coming up here for the Leopards. Handoff once again to Williams, and he is met by a few Toros, possibly maybe 1 yard or no gain on the play.
Trip Lee, 5'11", 205-pound junior defensive end, initially makes the contact, and that's something that Blount has the ability to do. Offensive coordinator Alonzo Johnson has this Blount Leopard team averaging 16 points per game and is changing formations and making this Toro defense work for it.
Trip receivers to the bottom, no one at the top. They go back to Williams, continuing to run it. He's going to be close. Let's see where they spot it at. If he doesn't have it, Corey, he'll be short by very, very few.
And Trip Lee with the stop again. They're going to call it a first down and 10 yards to go. So that's a great drive so far. I think that's maybe 3 first downs so far for Blount on this opening drive, to where they've had success without penalties. And that's something that I think is huge for this Blount Leopard program tonight, to make sure they're staying ahead of down and distance situations.
Spanish Fort averages 31 points on offense, but one way they can't get to 31 if you keep them off the field, make the clock your ally, as this drive continues to eat up clock, as we are under 7 minutes in the first quarter, and they're continuing to run as they hand it off once again. Williams plows ahead for about 4 or 5, Corey.
And you look at the big nose guard, Jabril Snowden, the 6'1", 260-pound senior, sticking his nose in there on that tackle of the Blount Leopards. But this Leopard offensive line has come out and has played error-free football here so far to start this football game.
Snowden, one of your impact players tonight for Spanish Fort. They give it back to the hot hand and the legs of Deshaun Williams, the sophomore back. He definitely can do it, as he's rushed for, at this point, probably, Corey, over 700 yards.
Hickson comes in, Josiah Hickson comes in from a strong safety position and makes the stop. Now it's going to bring up 3rd down, and we're going to call it a long 3 yards to go, Al.
I'm going to go with you on that, a long 3, even though clock operator had 3rd and 6. They just changed it to 3. Hope that's not a false start, and I believe we had some motion for one of those receivers at the top of the screen. They're deflected. I'm sorry, the old dirty yellow rag.
On the offense, 5 yard.
That's that drive killer that Blount stayed away from the previous 8 plays of the drive. You go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. Now you're asking Freddie Davis to be very effective and not throw an interception here. But the biggest thing for Freddie to do, if he sees that none of his wide receivers are open, go ahead and scramble for it and keep your team in positive yardage, and don't lose any yards by taking a sack either.
3rd and 8 looks more like 3rd and 7. Davis back to throw. He has a man wide open, and he throws it past the outstretched arms of his receiver. Could not connect.
Tyler Beverly.
Ty Beverly.
And we
mentioned
mentioned
too much air under it, Corey.
It was a great job of rolling out right and releasing Beverly, who was wide open, but he didn't have an opportunity to stay clean in regards to the pressure being applied by this Toro defense. Now you decide to go ahead. You're not in field goal range. You're probably at 4th down and 7 yards to go, with the ball being spotted right at the 28-yard line of the Toros.
And we have another penalty flag comes out on the 4th down play there.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That's one of the things that
thought
drive
it was 4th down, Corey.
Coach Sumter crazy in that situation, and the 4 down marker does say 4th down.
Right, so Mike Beckton may have made a slight error. So that's going to push Blount, you're looking at now 4th and about 12 or 11 yards coming up here. Those penalties can be drive killers. Set up the screen. That pass incomplete, could not get it to Williams. He had a couple blockers in front of him, so it'll be ball over on downs, and Spanish Fort will come out for their second possession of the first quarter.
Good play call, had his big left guard, Rodarius Lacey, going down the field with him, and if he would have made that completion, you see right here a great drop back by Freddie Davis, just put a little bit too much air on it, and you see the big fella lumbering down the field trying to push out in front, and now Spanish Fort takes over on downs, and we'll see here with their second drive of the game whether Bird can get his footing underneath him and whether they're going to go ahead and try to attack the running game with Johnny Morris the third also.
They have not thrown to Jake Godfrey yet. He's the leading receiver. Handed off to Johnny Morris. And Morris is tackled by Ty Beverly, Corey. That's going to be possibly maybe a 1-yard pickup, second down for the Toros.
Great open field tackle by the 6', 175-pound senior. Comes away with his 26th solo tackle of the season. This young man is definitely an impact player and a playmaker for this Blount Leopard team.
Sure is. 2nd and 9 coming up here. They hand off to Godfrey from his H-back position. And, boy, he just runs behind that big offensive line close to the first down mark. I think he's going to be short about a yard. So it'll be 3rd and short coming up here for the Toros.
And Godfrey comes away with his 8th rush of the season. Now has over 60 yards rushing for this Spanish Fort Toro offense. And you start looking at where they're going to mark the football, it's going to be a little bit short, maybe by about a yard.
Right.
So,
well, Mike Beckton has stepped in and said it's a first down. But, Corey, from our vantage point, it did appear to be about a yard short.
Well, they went ahead and marked it right here as we're standing atop the press box right at the 45-yard line. They got enough for it. It's a fresh set of downs, and they're moving and marching down the field now.
So 1st and 10 for the Toros. Godfrey picked that up all by himself with some help from the offensive line. But right now, the Leopards are going to help him back. No gain on the play. 2nd down coming up for the Toros as the Leopards stepped up on defense.
Kevin Norwood, the 6'1", 283-pound sophomore, on the stop for the Blount Leopards, and now you don't give up anything on first down, so now you just have to stay home and watch your ball keys, not go for the play action and get beat with wide receivers streaking behind you.
Godfrey lines up in the slot. That pass incomplete as he tried to get it out to Trayvon Reed. I'm sorry on that one, Cam Jackson. Pass incomplete. 3rd down and long coming up for the Toros, but we have a flag on the play.
Looks like an ineligible or
ineligible player downfield. Blount is going to decline it. Corey, that's something I wanted to talk to you about.
Man downfield on the offense. That penalty declined.
And I'm going to say it's probably a shift in how play calling is done. We have had that flag, that infraction called a lot this year, and it possibly could because of the run-pass option and, you know, quarterbacks and linemen not on the same page. But we tend to see that about 2 or 3 times a ball game since we started this season.
All the timing issue is Bird's going to roll out to his left.
Bird on the carry. Had a chance to watch him against Saraland the other weekend, that loss. Kind of reminds me of Bo Nix, the way he runs, Corey. He's very elusive. He's left-handed, first of all, so that's something that I'm used to seeing for the Blount defense. But he's very shifty and a real smart player, too.
He's not scared to go ahead and tuck his head and run it, as evident right there. And this is going to bring up a short yardage situation. 4th down and 1 yard to go. Your punter is your quarterback. But right here at the 50-yard line, the Toros are going to push ahead and try to get a fresh set of downs.
Play clock under 15. Bird taking his time. Johnny Mason just to his left. And Bird's going to keep it. Look at him, Corey. In and out, weaving in and out inside of the Blount secondary. Goes to that second level and takes it to the 35-yard line of the Leopards. First down for Spanish Fort.
Very elusive. The defensive end, Sidney Goodson, winds up catching him. The 6'3", 225-pound senior, but not before the Toros are able to pick up a first down. The Toros now are not going to huddle. They're going to quickly go to the line of scrimmage, and the ball's going to be spotted at the Leopard 35-yard line out.
Playing tempo. Trayvon Reed in motion. They give it to Johnny Morris right up the middle, and he is tripped up, Corey, because he had nothing but green grass in front of him.
That stop, if it's not made by Quintarius Hannon, that's 6 points for the Toros, but not before the damage is done on the run, gaining close to 8 yards on that carry.
Second and short coming up here for Spanish Fort. Tight end Cooper Wilson goes into motion. Low snap, but Bird reacts and drills a bullet right on the middle on the slant to Trayvon Reed. Touchdown for Spanish Fort. They are on the board first.
And you saw him thread the needle, Bird that is, to Reed. His third receiving touchdown of the season. Has now over 160 yards, but look at him climb the ladder of that pocket, step into his throw. We saw him struggle with that footing earlier on the Toro side of the field. He did not struggle with his footwork there and absolutely throws a laser beam for 6 points for the Toros.
Lucas Bro on for the extra point. Low snap. And the try is no good, so Spanish Fort on top 6-0 here in the first quarter. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
This is a program for any middle school student who's actually behind. This opportunity offers kids a chance to do 2 grades in 1 year.
If it wasn't for Star Academy, I would still be in 8th grade and probably still struggling.
We are one-on-one. We have small classrooms, and we're able to give students that personal touch, that personal attention.
I know I'm coming to see good teachers, good attitude, and also they're here to teach us what we need to learn.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State. Al Wheat, Corley Bounty on the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn. Spanish Fort on top 6-0 over the Leopards. A low snap, Corey. They did not get the extra point, so we'll see how that will come into factor later on during the ball game.
Live football after it goes 10 yards, and Blount's going to field it and try to take off and have some positive yardage out of it.
Cartel Washington. He salvages something out of it. One of the Toros say, I have the ball, but they're going to say it is Blount's ball. I think they're going to spot this at about maybe the 24, 23-yard line.
And you go back and you look at it, after it goes 10 yards, it is a live ball, and they had an opportunity to go ahead and field it, but that was a big-time throw by Bird to Reed on that touchdown. And you look at that drive, that was a 7-play, I think 63-yard drive, and it was culminated with a nice 26 or 27-yard touchdown pass by Bird.
First to 10 for the Leopards, ball on the 24. And we have a whistle. Looks like false start will be against Blount. That's going to push him back 5 yards.
We got a false start against the Leopards.
And Corey, you could kind of tell after Spanish Fort held Blount on that 4th down and got the ball. They kind of ran some tempo, picked up 2 first downs, and they started moving. And you can kind of see the offense starting to click for the Toros, and they put it on the board. That pass is complete. Gets it out to Myron Dunklin. That gets him out of the hole a bit, Corey. It's going to be 2nd down and about 8 now.
And that's what you have to see. I mean, he's an impact player for the Blount Leopards for a reason. A 5'11", 190-pound sophomore has explosive ability. Now you start catching those short passes, and all of a sudden Blount runs past you from a cornerback position. If Freddie puts it on the money, that's exactly where Blount will continue to go.
Goes back to Dunklin again. They say that is complete. gets them a bit closer. The line to gain is going to be the 34, so they're going to be short about 4 yards coming up here, 3rd and 4 for the Blount Leopards.
And you see Freddie Davis going right at Joshua Mason.
That's right.
5'11", 170-pound senior corner. And you can't give Dunklin, if you do give him room or enough space and you don't press him at the line of scrimmage, he does have the ability to beat you with his burst of speed deep.
Under 30 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. He pulls it out of the belly of Deshaun Williams, going to keep it himself. Davis gets the first down as he runs into one of the Toros, Jalen Mason. It was like a immovable force meets a movable object, Corey.
It was Hunt who helicoptered him a little bit, and he was lucky. The linebacker, the 6'2", 215-pound senior.
Oh, that was Hunt, okay.
Yeah, initially
wow.
made the contact when he went airborne, and then he was finished off by one of the
Toro
team.
Then he got finished off by,
right,
he hit the Mason Hickson line. That's what happened to him, Corey. So I think this will probably do it for the first quarter. Blount's not even going to snap it. It'll be 1st and 10 when we rejoin you in the second quarter. You're watching Spanish Fort versus Blount, the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
If you look at the numbers, Mobile County Public Schools is making great strides. With more than 53,000 students, 7,000 employees, and 90 schools, we are consistently increasing our 4-year graduation rate and our first-class pre-K program. We continue to strive for national recognition and continue to prepare our students for the global workforce. And we do all of this with one goal in mind, to equip and empower college and career-ready graduates. Mobile County Public Schools. We're learning today, leading tomorrow.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we are learning today and leading tomorrow. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Spanish Fort leading right now 6-0 on top of Blount. Deshaun Williams met at the line, no gain on that play. Sets up another 2nd and 10 for the Leopards.
That's just stout Toro defense when you start talking about the push that they're able to get up front, and that's very impressive when you are able to stand up a dynamic running back in the hole. And that play made by Colton Holland, the 6', 215-pound junior for the Toros.
2nd and 10, ball on the 38-yard line. Only one score put up in the first quarter by Spanish Fort, and they bring the house right there, Corey, and they sack Freddie Davis.
Well, what happens when you bring the house, you have to cash in. Avery Wilson, 5'10", 180-pound senior linebacker, is going to get credited for that initial sack, but you got to go to an audible or a hard count, because if you're Freddie Davis, you have to see those linebackers and those cornerbacks starting to creep up to the line of scrimmage. And when you start seeing that, either call your timeout or go ahead and audible and change the play at the line of scrimmage. That way you don't take that type of loss.
3rd and long coming up here for the Leopards. Delayed draw to Deshaun Williams. He's tripped up. Take a look at the first quarter statistics of the ball game, Corey. Passing yards you see for Blount right there, only 3, but a lot of rushing yards, but a balanced attack for Spanish Fort.
Yeah, I mean, but Blount had a lot of success running the football at the beginning, and then they got it negated by those penalties. 5 for 25. Yeah. They were drive killers. You go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8, and then you have to stop running the football effectively. But Spanish Fort, you saw Bird thread the needle there. Now you're in a situation to where if you're Blount, you're going to have to punt the football and try to flip the field.
Godfrey setting up at his own 40-yard line. And the Leopards wrap him up at about the 36. So good special teams play. Ty Beverly in on the tackle, Cora.
This young man is all over the field for the Blount Leopards. And again, on that next level in college, he's going to be a tremendous asset to whatever program decides to go ahead and sign this young man, because if you're not able to start offensively, defensively, find a way on special teams to help your team, and that's exactly what Beverly was able to do for the Blount Leopards.
That was a huge stop right there on that tackle. So it's 1st and 10 for Spanish Fort. Ball on their own 39-yard line. First possession of the second quarter for the Toros. Godfrey pulls it, Bird pulls it out the belly, tosses it, a little toss to Johnny Morris, picks up about 5 or 6. Nice play there for the Toros. Moving the chains if they can, stay in the front of the sticks.
But what you see is Bird making the high impact throw to Johnny Morris out of the backfield. He wasn't going to take the sack. He rolled the pocket to his right, but was throwing left, and Morris goes ahead and makes only, I do believe, his second reception of the season for the Toros.
Godfrey goes in motion. They hand it off to Aaron Threat up the middle. Threat goes. He's going to pick up the first down as the Toros cross the midfield stripe. Going to place this ball at about the 49-yard line, and there go the chain gang on the move, Cora.
Aaron Threat, the 5'10", 175-pound senior, with his 44th rush of the season, and now has over 335 yards cumulative on the season.
Bird is going to be sacked right there by the Leopards at the 50-yard line. Let's check in with Kimberly Dunn. What's going on, Kim?
Hey guys, I was able to go and talk to Carl Fontroy. I tried to get him to come over here, but he said, I'm not going over there in front of the Blount student section all alone. So he said he didn't want to make the walk, but I did talk to him and try to fill him out a little bit about things that are going on. You know, he was, of course, a little bit disappointed having this injury because he's been playing since he was a freshman. And not only has he been playing since then, but he was a starter since he was a freshman. So he's been a very important part of this team that he calls a family. And he said, you know, we already know that he made that verbal commitment to UAB, but he said that he's hopeful to make that firm decision by December to make that, you know, forever commitment to who he's going to go to. And he said, you know, right now he's definitely still leaning to UAB. He said the thing that's really drawing him there is that it makes it just like family, just like the team he's on right now. He said we're all a family. We all encourage each other. We try to correct, you know, our mistakes. We try to be mentors to one another. And so that's the same kind of feeling that he's able to get at UAB. And he said that's what makes him feel most comfortable, most excited about his future. He feels like he's going to be taken care of, and he feels like they are going to really help him grow, not only as a player, but as a person as well. He said a lot of the coaches there are some of the same people that he has been able to encounter throughout his high school football career. So he already feels comfortable, already feels like their family. So he's really excited about the future that he has with them. He actually had his MRI today, so he is going to get those results and see what those further actions are going to be in order to help and fix his injury. But he is still really excited, still hopeful, and he said, you know, having this injury has really allowed him to take on a different role. He's now able to be a coach and a mentor for his team. He said, you know, these guys respect me, we respect each other, so not only do they want to win, but they want to win now for me. They want to show me that they can do it. They want to show me that they're going to work hard. You know, just because I'm out for the season does not mean that that they're out for the season. So we are going to finish strong, whether he's on the field or on the sidelines, and he's going to coach them and encourage them just as if he was there too.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that great story. She gave us an update. And Corey, the young man, also played basketball for the Toros as well.
Yeah, that's a tremendous loss, not only for the football program, but for the basketball program as well. Jimbo Tolbert's going to miss him tremendously, but I want to wish Carl the best moving forward. This is an excellent and outstanding young man. He's going to continue to grow now, X's and O's from the sidelines as he continues to grow and recover from that ACL injury.
3rd and long coming up for Spanish Fort. They took a timeout while we were getting that update from Kimberly. and that pass is overthrown. It's going to be 4th down coming up. And speaking of UAB, Corey, as I was down on the field earlier talking to the coaches, I saw a young man walking on the field who had a UAB golf shirt on.
It's one of those situations to where the Blazers have had a lot of success coming in here to Mobile, Alabama, and recruiting very well because, I mean, you look no further than their quarterback, Tyler Johnston, who was an absolute winner at Spanish Fort, undefeated in his high school career as a Toro, was just put into the Toro Hall of Fame. But UAB, again, knows that there's a very rich tradition of student athletes being recruited and being available in this Mobile, Baldwin County area.
So I think it's probably still looking good for the young man, especially, you know, see, I don't know if it was a recruiter or a coach, but it was a nice looking green polo with the dragon on the chest there, Corey. So we wish him all the best and success. And as Kimberly said, you've been playing at football that long, you know, like, whoa, since a freshman. Got to thank our folks at Firehouse Subs. Make sure you enjoy more subs and save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse Subs will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So thanks to Jim and Susie Sherman for hooking us up with the East tonight. Also, we want to thank BSN Sports, where you can get team apparel and equipment. Remember, BSN Sports, the heart of the game. Visit them online at bsnsports.com. And lastly, our title sponsor, Bishop State, with 4 city campuses and offering students a quality and affordable education. Visit bishop.edu to learn more. Bishop State, a great place to start. Cartel Washington setting up at his own 12-yard line. Low snap to Bird. He fumbles it. This is trouble, Corey. They block him out of the way. That's a live ball. Kel Smith picks it up and gonna take it to the house. A former Crichton Optimist Club Player of the Week. That is a 6-point touchdown right there for the Leopards.
Huge momentum swing on special teams, and I like the way that they took out Bird first.
That's
Don't
huge.
try to scoop and score. Go ahead
huge.
and take out the quarterback / punter. So when you look at this replay, it was already a very low snap, and then it takes a bad bounce. But right here, you have the heads up to take Bird out first. Then you scoop it up. You go ahead and you put in the juke move, and you're able to cash in. So a huge play for the Blount Leopards on special teams that gets them on the scoreboard.
So Kel Smith blocked him out of the way, then picked up the ball and scored. Extra point for the Leopards. Kick is up, and it is way up in the air, and it is good. Blount on top, 7-6. It's really getting good now. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
A scoop and score by Kel Smith, 27 yards on the punt recovery. And Corey, he did his own blocking, did his own scoring, and his own running.
Kel Smith, the 5'10", 180-pound senior, had 45 solo tackles on the season, 4 pass breakups and 1 interception. Now add fumble recovery with a scoop and score to that defensive resume. That's a one-play, 26-yard drive, so to call it, for the Blount Leopards. And you have that scoop and score that changes the dynamics. You mentioned, will that extra point haunt Spanish Fort? Well, so far, yes, it has.
Sayon Morris puts it into the air as the Toros fielded at about the 24-yard line. Down 1 point to the Leopards right here. Al Whedon, Corley Bounty down on the sidelines. We have Kimberly Dunn, 6:51 remaining in the first half, and the Blount Leopards have received a spark. There's your scoring drive summary right there, Corey. Only took him 15 seconds, but he kind of did all the work there. So 1st and 10 for Spanish Fort. Ball on the 32-yard line. Hand off to Johnny Morris. Morris cuts it outside to the numbers, and he is tackled. I think they'll give him credit for 1 yard on that run. So we'll call it 2nd and 9 coming up here for the Toros. Spanish Fort beat Blount twice last year, once in the regular season, 14-10. Then they met in the 3rd round of the playoffs, and Spanish Fort won 24-14. Back to Morris, and boy, he is loose. One man to beat, Kel Smith, as he wraps him up at the 20-yard line. A big run by Johnny Morris.
The longest we've seen of the night by this Toro offense, and that's the burst that they needed. This young man now has over 600 rushing yards on the season, but you see where he took off from, right around the 35-yard line, and he just turns on the turbo boosters. But again, Kel Smith saves that touchdown for the Blount Leopards.
About a 45-yard run for Johnny Morris. They go back to him again. Ben Blackman likes to run the ball. He wants that running game to work. You talked about it, Corey, on your checklist for the Toros tonight.
Sidney Goodson with the stop from his defensive end position for Blount, but not before 8 yards, is being picked up by Johnny Morris III. And you want to go to your hot back in that situation. That's back-to-back runs. Even if you set a 45-yard rush, you turn around and give him the football once again and see if he can wear down this defense who had to try to chase him.
Because think about it, the defense had been on the field a long time for Blount. They sacked Bird twice. They called a timeout. Then they went for the kill shot, incomplete pass. Bird just going to keep that one, stretches out. He has enough for the first down as the Toros are inside of the 10.
And that's what you have to ask, just to go ahead and get that first set of downs. And Chris Casher III on the stop now.
Don't forget the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge will be coming up. Kimberly Dunn's going to be looking to get another winner. She'll climb into the stands, grab a spectator, and ask them a question, try to hook them up with a Chick-fil-A prospect. So stick around at halftime for that. And I believe we're going to have some entertainment from both bands as well. Spanish Fort entertaining us with a running game, continuing to run Johnny Morris. Right up the middle he goes into the 5-yard line.
And as they're in the red zone area of the Blount Leopards, you mentioned, now they're at 2nd down and goal to go right at the 4-yard line of the Blount Leopards, and a lot of hands on the hips by these defensive linemen in purple and white.
Godfrey goes into motion. They run a little misdirection. And Morris is tackled for a loss. Malik O'Bell drives him back past the 15, Corey. Oh, Chris Casher on the tackle.
Good job and pursuit, not giving it up in that situation. And when you go ahead and you find a way now to bring it to 3rd down and goal to go at the 16-yard line, now it changes the play calling. But here, the cornerbacks for Blount have to make sure that they're pressing at the line of scrimmage, because Bird threaded the needle earlier in his first touchdown pass. So you want to make sure here that you're getting good coverage from your secondary.
Cooper Wilson goes into motion. They fake the toss. They're looking for Wilson on the wheel route. Cannot get it complete. That was a nice play drawn up. Just couldn't execute it fully through.
Wilson, the 6', 210-pound senior, had a free release at the line of scrimmage. Just a little bit too much air in that pigskin, and now it's going to bring up a 4th down and goal to go for the Toros. And
Lucas Bros coming on the kick, Corey. His longest of his career is 42 yards.
This is going to be a 33-yarder.
I think this is about a 33-yarder, so this is within his range. And I believe we have Blount offside score.
Well, that's one of those situations to where you have to have a timeout, so you're not going to get called for that penalty, but you're not going to give up a first down, because it is 4th down and goal to go, but you, instead of making it a 33-yard field goal, you make it a 28-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And you don't want to help Spanish Fort at all in the red zone area.
Yeah, you put Bro 5 yards closer. and probably more accurate for him. So we'll call this one a 28-yarder. Kick is up and no good. No good on the field goal try. We are still 7-6, Blount on top. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
Our children with special needs deserve a place to play. That is why we are coming together to build the Miracle League of West Mobile Schmidt Family Park. It will include a special needs ball field and playground, regulation baseball and softball fields, and more. We have raised more than $1 million and construction will start soon, but we need your help to complete the project. Visit mcpss.com/Miracle League to donate and to learn more. Any dollar amount will help bring a smile to a child's face. Together, we can make a miracle.
Blount takes over at the 16-yard line. A big run by Deshaun Williams as we pick up action, and that is the first down. He pushes it up to the 31-yard line.
Gets into that secondary. That's just a huge hole. He bounces off the initial contact. Is wound up being wrapped up by Jalen Mason, the 6', 180-pound free safety senior on the stop. But Blount's going tempo here. They feel that they've established something in this running game, and that's what I like. Check with me at the line of scrimmage to make this Toro defense adjust.
3:10 remaining in the first half. Back to Deshaun Williams. He takes that handoff high. Picks up about 2 yards. 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Blount Leopards.
And on that opening drive that the Blount Leopards did have, we saw a lot of success running the football.
We did.
How do you do that? You create shorter down and distance situations. Here it's going to be probably 2nd down and 7 yards to go now, but positive yardage on 1st down. If you're able to get 3 and 4 yards a pop at the line of scrimmage, that definitely is advantage Blount without the penalty flags coming out that changes the play calling of Alonzo Johnson.
Once again, back to Deshaun Williams, and boy, he busts that one wide open, Corey, into Spanish Fort territory from the 34 to about the 34 of Spanish Fort. A big run by Deshaun Williams.
Deshaun Williams, the 5'11", 190-pound sophomore. Look how high and tight that football is. He has outstanding vision, decides to go ahead and bounce it to the outside as he saw the cornerback closing down. But it is going to be a fresh set of downs for this Blount Leopard team. Right, it looks like at the 35-yard line, the ball is going to be spotted at the 34-yard line.
So Blount giving Spanish Fort a dose of what they gave them, continuing to run the ball.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
So we got our microphone finally working for Mike Beckton tonight, Corey.
And again, I know he doesn't want to continue to hear his name
called.
Right,
that's
he would
right.
rather keep the flags in the pocket for his crew, but that puts the Blount Leopards behind the chains down in distance-wise now. You lose positive yardage on 1st down. They're going to replay 1st down, but not before Blount has to walk it backwards 5 yards, and it does change the play calling now. Freddie Davis, the 6'2", 210-pound senior, has an opportunity here to complete some passes to Myron Dunklin or Ty Beverly.
1st and 15, ball on the 39-yard line of Spanish Fort. They continue to give it to Williams as he runs into one of his own teammates. That actually impeded his progress. He ran right into the back of Darrell Davis.
And one thing I'm noticing is Williams starts to get up slower and slower the more he's hit. Now, what's going to be interesting is when he gets past the line of scrimmage, he's not going to be slow because he finds a way to turn on those jets. But keep an eye on tonight how many times and how slow Williams gets off the turf.
Williams has come out of the ball game. Going to take a breather. Very good observation. And another penalty against the Leopards. Going to push them back 5 more yards, Corey. This is kind of reminiscent of that opening drive they had in the 1st quarter where they ran and started shooting themselves in the foot. Tyler Tucker, sophomore running back, comes in to replace Williams.
Well, let's see if the explosive passing play is going to be here for Blount. Don't need to force it if you're quarterback Freddie Davis. Check down if you have to. Another penalty flag is going to be called.
And if I'm correct,
false start on the offense. Still second down.
That is 15 yards, Corey,
Another false start.
against the Leopards, literally going backwards with 61 seconds remaining here in the first half.
But you can't get it all down back in one play, so just go ahead and not turn the football over and be smart.
Freddie Davis in the open field. Gets close to the 35-yard line, almost back to the original line of scrimmage. So I can actually say it here. If I'm correct, this should be third down and about 12 coming up. Coach Sumter's going to call a timeout. Very smart right here to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to get your offense settled down because you've had a couple of penalties that should not have been. But now you're in a situation to where at third down and close to 14 yards to go, the ball looks like it's going to be spotted right around the 38, 37-yard line maybe of the Toros. So here, even you can punt the football away and pin the Toros deep, because when you start looking at the scoreboard, you're up 7-6 with only 40.5 seconds remaining. So again, punting the football away or throwing an interception here, you don't want to allow the Toros to return a pick six to the house.
Spanish Fort should have 2 timeouts remaining, and Blount should have 1. 40.5 seconds here in the second quarter. Trip receivers to the bottom of the screen for the Leopards. Empty set. Freddie Davis gets his complete, and you have a man loose going into the end zone. That's going to be a 38-yard touchdown to Darrell Davis. Corey, he wasn't in anyone's way that time.
Darrell Davis, the 6', 190-pound junior, turns on the Jets. And just like that, the Blount Leopards are able to strike. Good look by Freddie Davis. Knew exactly who he wanted to check down to. The linebacker was not able to keep up with him, and a couple of missed tackles, tackling at the feet, are not going to get this young man to the ground. Blount has 6 more on the board here at Harris Terry Stadium.
Sayon Morris on for the extra point. And he puts that one up near the International Space Station. Blount extends their lead 14-6. Let's check in with our buddy Mike Herndon. He's had a real good game tonight. Fairhope versus Theodore. What's going on, Mike?
First down Bobcats from the 37-yard line.
Having some technical difficulties getting Mike Herndon on the broadcast with us, so we'll check in with him in a little bit. But Corey, that drive right there looked like it was about to stop for the Leopards. Alonzo Johnson, Coach Detrick Sumter, they call up a play and they connect, and now the Blount Leopard fans are back on their feet again.
Well, this Spanish Fort defense has only given up 13.3 points per game so long on this season, and you start talking about their overall record being 5-1, 3-1 in 6A region play. Spanish Fort 6-2-0 all time versus Blount.
That's right.
One of the losses came a couple of years ago here on that Saturday game, but that was a huge and big time play.
Spanish Fort brings that ball up near the 40-yard line. Corey, you talked about that victory. It's ironic. The only 2 times that Blount has beat Spanish Fort has been at home, as a matter of fact. The only 2 victories they have against them was right here at Harris Terry Stadium. So they're going to spot this ball, I believe, at the 38-yard line. The paint on the field, they've done the best they can, Corey, but the field is in not very good shape. I'm going to say that's the 38.
It is the 38-yard line of the Toros, and Blount just needs to make sure nothing gets behind them here. I think Spanish Fort will be happy to run a draw and get in here to halftime and make the adjustments without getting greedy.
Bird rolls out. Does get the pass complete. Nice pass right there. Hooked up with Cam Jackson once again. Jackson steps out of bounds. That stops the clock. 2nd and short coming up here for the Toros.
Again, it's okay to play prevent defense. You just want to make sure nothing gets behind you. Spanish Fort has already missed a 28-yard field goal. So if they get in field goal range, they'll give their kicker an opportunity to go ahead and try to score 3 points. But you risk the point of it being blocked and Blount scoring another 6 points on special teams also.
Godfrey and Wilson here to the bottom of the screen. Bird looking to his right. He catches Johnny Wilson out of the backfield.
He was not down.
Almost upended by one of the Leopards. I thought he was down when the Leopards player hit him. That was Ty Beverly. Beverly coming off the field, Corey, holding his left arm.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this hit he put on him, and it's not down. Great balance. His helmet touched the ground, but I don't think his elbow
I thought
did.
the right elbow touched the ground, but great acrobatic work by Johnny Morris there.
But keep an eye on that Beverly injury.
That's
here.
right.
We'll see him going into halftime, being tended to the trainers, but that leaves 13 seconds remaining for the Toros to take over here at the 44-yard line of the Leopards.
Big play here for Spanish Fort. Bird looks back to his right. No one is there but Leopards. Leaves 5.8 seconds remaining on the game clock. Corey, I think maybe he and the receiver had a miscommunication. There was no Spanish Fort Toro near 10, 15 yards of that ball.
Well, you know, if you want to go ahead and try to get onto the scoreboard, the Leopards know not to let anything get behind them. And you should see nothing but purple jerseys around the football as we're getting ready with 5.8 seconds remaining here in the second quarter to come to halftime with BLOUNT leading 14-6 so far.
Bird looking to connect with one of his receivers. Eludes the defender, rolls to his left, cuts back up. No time on the clock, so that's going to end the half. A very interesting first half, Corey. First quarter started off a bit slow. Both teams had the ball, and Spanish Fort scored. We kind of saw a little lull go on, and then some second quarter action really took off for us.
Well, it was the special teams play, and you're talking about Kel Smith making that play for the BLOUNT Leopards to where he went ahead and knocked out Bird, who was the punter in that situation. Then he scooped it up and ran for that touchdown, so that gave the life to the BLOUNT Leopards. The missed extra point so far for the Spanish Fort Toros has been huge also.
Let's take it down to the field and check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Coach Sumter, how do you feel about your team's performance so far tonight?
I told you the morale was good. Yes. And that's the only thing I can say right now. Morale was good. Yeah, we still made a couple mistakes, but we get in, good read by the quarterback, play breakdown, so, hey, I take it.
Yeah. So what are you going to tell your team during this break?
0-0. Hey, that's one of the best teams in the United States. So he going to make adjustments. He going to come back out. So it ain't nothing to be happy about. But I like the team energy.
Yes.
And I told you that at the beginning.
Yes, you do. All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, Kimberly. Well, Coach Sumter keeping it real, Corey. It'll be 0-0 when we come back in the second half.
You have to have that mentality. You don't want to get caught looking at the scoreboard because momentum can leave quickly here with the Toros making the adjustments that Coach was talking about.
All right, it is halftime. We're going to come back, show you some bands. Also, we'll have the Chick-Fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge as well. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose.
Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
Right now, let's take it down to the field and listen to the Spanish Fort Toro marching band.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Principal Brian Williamson, we proudly present the Spanish Fort High School Toro Band.
The sounds of the Spanish Fort Marching Toro Band. Now it's time for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Let's check in with Kimberly Dunn.
That's right. We're ready for our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, and I have with me a lovely BLOUNT cheerleader. Can you tell us your name and what grade you're in?
Jamiah James, and I'm a senior at BLOUNT High School.
Perfect. So thank you, sweetheart. She was returning a pin. Very sweet. So where do you want to go to college, and what would you like to major in?
I would like to attend Jackson State University, and I want to major in criminal justice pre-law.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited for you and your future. Are you ready to answer this question and win our wonderful Chick-fil-A prize pack?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. She said she's not sure if she's going to get it right, but we'll see. I think she's smart. Here we go. In the city of Enterprise, Alabama, there's a monument to this insect that devastated the cotton industry in the early 1900s. What insect is it? Is it A, the boll weevil, B, the yellow jacket, C, the brown cockroach, or D, the cricket?
A.
Oh, you got it right. Good job. Good job. Look, before we interviewed, she was like, I cannot get this wrong on camera, but she did it all on her own, and I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, I hope y'all have a great rest of the game, and congratulations on your senior year.
Thank you. Have a nice one.
And there it is, another winner for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Now let's take it down to the field and listen to the sounds of the mighty marching Leopard Band from BLOUNT High School.
Let's break it down, man. Smooth. Let's go, man. Quick it back up. High school, you can see it now, so we came to make this a night to remember. Everyone stand, so see us some love. Now sit back and relax as the band take you to a midfield drill that features the favorite flags in the minor major list. So keep watching. Now you should know. You are witnessing hands in motion. There's the rock, the high step, the moving and the grooving. It's a deal that says let you know that you are the best. Now sit back and relax as the dance is down to get down to the sound of the infamous Mr. Michael Jackson. Smooth criminal.
Daddy, have no chips you like.
So you're blind to the dynamics. Come on, baby. Take it on down. Ladies and gentlemen, please sing it. So at this time, we would like to make sure to sing it.
Okay. Iggy. You can't keep
Miss Curry. Senior. Senior. Miss Jamal.
They did, but I couldn't see nothing that you ate. They ain't have no Twix or Kit Kat. I see sniffles and you can't have it.
Parents, Miss Cynthia.
I'll give you some dollars. You can go down there and stand in that line.
Sounds of the mighty march and leopard plan of Blunt High School. We're going to come back, take a look at state polls, and give you your second half. You're watching MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
When we say Bishop State Community College is a great place to start, we really mean it. Want to major in psychology, engineering, criminal justice, English, history, or something else? Take your general education courses with us, then transfer your credits to the four-year university of your choice. Want to learn a trade and go straight into the workforce? We have the programs and the trainings to help you land a high-wage and high-demand career. Save time and thousands while conveniently taking classes safely online or on campus. Register now, bishop.edu.
It's the 2021 MCPSS Virtual Signature Academy Showcase, October 19th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Register at signatureacademyshowcase.vfairs.com. Representatives from all 12 high schools will be on hand to talk about our academies. This event is open to all 7th and 8th graders and their parents. So register today and have your questions answered regarding your child's transition into high school and into a life-changing career path. It's the 2021 MCPSS Virtual Signature Academy Showcase, October 19th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
It is halftime here at Harris Terry Stadium. Al Whedon, Coralie Bounty, Blount on top 14-6. It's senior night, so they're trying to resume calling the rest of the seniors before the third quarter, Cora.
Yeah, you don't want to get that 15-yard penalty in the halftime, so we've seen that happen before, Al.
All right, let's take a look at 4A Region 1 standings while we have a break here at halftime and kind of look at how things are going. Viger got a win last night, Corey, as they played Faith Academy, undefeated in the region, undefeated overall. And you told me earlier St. Michael is down right now in their ball game to Mobile Christian.
29-0, St. Michael is trailing Mobile Christian. So, again, you're talking about the first four make the playoffs.
Right.
Viger has kind of cushioned their lead, but what a logjam in between St. Michael, Williamson, and Mobile Christian, along with Jackson.
That's right, Williamson and Escambia County playing tonight. Let's take it up to 5A Region 1 and see what's going on right there. UMS right in control. They're at 3-0 in region play. And sitting right behind them, BC Rain, Corey, 3-0. We had them against LaFleur last week, but we know they had a gauntlet to go through. They still hadn't played UMS Wright, St. Paul's, or Faith Academy to end their season.
Yes, Alberta and LaFleur played last night, and
Sure
Alberta
did.
was able to get that win. But when you start talking about BC Rain and St. Paul's playing tonight, BC Rain was up 21-0 over St. Paul's. So, excuse me, St. Paul's was up over BC Rain 21-0.
Okay.
So you're UMS Wright, you're in the driver's seat right there, but still
Right.
a lot of football left to be played.
Let's revisit 6A Region 1 right quick. We had it at the top of the broadcast. We know a big one tonight as Blount and Spanish Fort are playing. Blount still has remaining on their schedule McGill and Gulf Shores, and Spanish Fort has Citronelle, McGill, and Daphne. So they have 3 region ball games left in this particular grouping. Let's take it up to 7A Region 1. And we know right now the undefeated Theodore Bobcats sitting right there at 5-0 and 6-0. Matter of fact, they're hosting Fairhope tonight, Corey. You told me Fairhope on top of them.
Yeah, 14-6 was the last half score that I saw. They should be right around halftime. But again, the Theodore Fairhope matchup is going to determine who's going to be the first seed in that region. Theodore trying to win the region for the 3rd time in the last 4 years.
And Baker's on the road playing Pine Forest tonight. So they got a big game coming up next week as they play Fairhope. Right now, let's take a look at the Alabama Sports Writers Association state polls in 4A. Once again, the top 4 are still the same from last week. Viger's still sitting solid at 3. They'll probably remain there after their win last night. Williamson's lost to Jackson last week. Corey knocks them outside of the top 10. They still picked up 15 votes. The Aggies missed the top 10 by 4 votes, and St. Michael's has 10 votes. Let's take it up to 5A. The top 7 teams here are all the same from last week. UMS Wright's win over Faith Academy knocks the Rams out of the poll, with St. Paul still on the outside looking in with 5 votes. All right, let's take it up to 6A. A slight shakeup in the 6A poll. We know Spanish Fort lost last week, and they dropped to number 5, and Saraland jumps into the poll for the first time this year at number 9. Corey, they hadn't even been in the poll. They knock off the number 1 team. They jump in right to number 9.
Hey, Jeff Kelly, I mean, at this point in time, he wants his football team to continue to get better.
Yeah.
You look at who they lost to earlier. Nothing wrong with losing to Theodore and Hewitt-Trussville if you're the Spartans early, but Spanish Fort trying to go ahead and hold their own here against Blount is trying to prevent back-to-back losses, something that you don't see often for a Ben Blackman coach team.
Let's take it up to 7A, that last poll, and some movement here in the poll finally. Auburn suffers its first loss, drops 2 spots to 5. That allowed Theodore to move up 1 spot to 4. Fairhope slides up 1 spot to 7. Enterprise falls out the top 10. That allows the Baker Hornets to enter the poll for the first time this year, rounding out the poll at number 10. So, Corey, there's the Alabama Sports Writers Association top 10 state polls. Let's take a look at the statistics from the first half. Interesting as what the numbers are going to tell us here. It stands out clearly, Corey, for Blount. 9 penalties, 45 yards.
And with it being 9 penalties for 45 yards, Blount still leads the scoreboard 14-6 here at Harris Terry Stadium in Pritchard, Alabama. You look at the balance, though. 103 rushing yards is where the Toros have to make the adjustment. And when you start looking at my checklist here, you start looking at what Blount needed to do, put away the penalties. Well, they have not been able to do that so far. They needed to stop the running game. They've done that pretty decently, only giving up almost 100 yards here. Special teams had to be huge for Blount. They've had a scoop and score for 6 points. That was big time. And Spanish Fort needs to go ahead and defend the run game and establish the run game here in the second half, so you can look for them to try to get a big dose of Johnny Morris III.
That's right.
For the Toros here in the second half.
We talked about it. Coach Blackman likes to run the ball. Put up our scoring summary. You can take a look, and you just talked about it, Corey. Spanish Fort got on the ball, got on the scoreboard first. Trayvon Reed, 27-yard touchdown pass from Brendan Bird. And right there in the second quarter, Blount explodes the scoop and score from Kel Smith. And then we had a 39-yard touchdown pass. And I believe, Corey, it may have been 4th and long for the Blount Leopards to Darrell Davis, and we're Knots right there 14-6. Let's take it down to the sidelines and check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Hey, I was able to talk to Coach Blackman, and he said, you know, right now they have a bad taste in their mouth. They started this season out strong with wins. They had their open week and then came immediately back with a loss, and so they're trying not to repeat that again this week. He said, we are hungry, we are ready to execute, we are ready to play well, we are ready to stop their running game, run the football, no turnovers, kick good. He said, we've just got to play some good football. And so that's what they're hoping to do coming into the second half. And he said that, you know, if we get this win, it's just going to solidify our chances of the playoffs and postseason.
Thank you, Kimberly. You're right about that. Coach Blackman and his Toros crew, they really want to keep the momentum going and get a big win. Blount's going to receive the second half kickoff. Corey, you talked about the fact of Spanish Fort and losing. I did a little research. The last time Spanish Fort lost back-to-back games, it was their second season of existence back in 2007.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That is huge, Corey.
It doesn't happen. You start talking about Mark Freeman and the success that he brought to this Toro program, and then Ben Blackman, the tremendous job that he's done since he's been the head coach. It's just something that you really don't see a lot of. And the Toros, again, coming on back-to-back state championship appearances.
Right.
The Toros will have to step up defensively, as Blount will have first crack here to start the second half of action.
Lucas Bro about to give us toe to leather here. Kind of squibs it up the middle. Blount waiting on it. That's a live ball. They need to get on it.
And they were very lucky that they did get on it.
Very lucky. They're signaling that they have, and I believe they do. So, big good field position for the Leopards. Ball at the 35-yard line.
Again, anytime the ball goes 10 yards, it is a live football. But what the second wave of receivers for the special teams Leopards did not see is where the football was located. And you have to make sure that you're not turning around to make a block first before you know where the football is, especially with the Toros trying to steal a possession here to open up the second half of action. But Blount's going to get the ball at their own 35-yard line.
Leopards in a pistol formation. Deshaun Williams, he didn't finish off the second quarter on the field. The Toros push him back. No gain on the play. It'll be second down and 10 coming up for Blount.
Well, you start talking about time of possession, and Blount only had the football 3 offensive series the entire first half.
That's right.
Because one of the 6 points came on the board off a scoop and score. They had that opening drive that took some 5 or 6 minutes, and then they had that last drive of the half that equated in a touchdown. But here, the Leopards aren't able to gain anything on first down.
Williams goes into motion. We have a flag on the play. Maybe a false start. And there it is. That has been hurting the Leopards all night.
I do see Ty Beverly back out on the field for the Blount Leopards on that far sidelines, located close to the Toros sidelines. And that's good news that he's able to see himself into this game, hopefully continue to become an impact player in the second half of action the way he has in the first half.
That's going to cost the Leopards 5 yards. 2nd and 15. Pre-snap penalties have been going against Blount all night. That pass tipped and completed. Myron Dunklin, Johnny on the spot, concentrates and hauls it in.
Avery Wilson saves 6 for the Toros, but look at this, a ricochet pass. Good job, almost a jump pass, but it's some 10 yards. Dunklin reverses it, and there is going to be an injury. Looks like Dunklin.
That is Dunklin.
Is going to be down, and Dunklin's the 5'11", 190-pound sophomore. Hopefully it's just a cramp for this young man because, again, he is an impact player, can stretch the field vertically for the Blount Leopards.
Blount has a 172-103 win-loss record at home for a 62% winning percentage. Tonight, Corey, Spanish Fort is playing in their 95th road game. They are 69-25 for a 73% winning percentage. They don't lose very often on the road. We're going to take a break and come back. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. First down and 10. Deshaun Williams goes into motion. They hand off to Tyler Tucker. He gets up to about the 50-yard line, midfield stripe. So that's going to be about a 1-yard gain for the Leopards. We'll call it 2nd and 9 coming up here.
And that's just a change of direction. Again, I mentioned in the first half, Williams getting up slowly after taking several hits and being pounced upon by those big defensive linemen. But 1 yard is positive yardage on first down. Blount just needs to make sure that they're using this cushion. Cornerbacks here in the slot are not being covered. The wide receivers are not being covered as they change in formation here. Alonzo Johnson, the offensive coordinator.
Deshaun Williams, quarterback. Freddie Davis goes into motion. They fake it. Williams is going to keep it, running behind Ty Beverly on the block as he gets to about the 45-yard line. Corey, that was a lot of stuff going on right there to get that formation set up.
And if you're the defense, the Toros, you don't want to jump off sides. You want to stay solid. Blount knows what the snap count is, so they can't afford any false starts. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 yards to go at the 45-yard line of the Toros. But I love the pre-snap movement by the offense.
It was just a lot going on.
As long as you do it before the play clock gets to about 3 or 2, you're fine because you know ultimately what you want to call.
Back to that pistol formation. Now Williams is going to come up to the left. Freddie Davis looking to throw, completes it to Ty Beverly right at the 40. His forward progress, maybe the 39-yard line. That's enough to get the 1st down on 3rd down and move the sticks once again for the Blount Leopards.
And the biggest thing for Beverly is him playing both ways. He just has to keep himself prepared. But that's a 1st down and 10 yards to go for the Blount Leopards from the Toros' 39-yard line. And again, I mentioned the in and out substitution by Alonzo Johnson. Let's see if they're able to find something down the seams as they were able to score on that touchdown.
Triple receivers at the top. And they go to Deshaun Williams. He's been running it well tonight as he stretches out to the 35-yard line of Spanish Fort.
Well, what has happened is when you start spreading out 3 and 4 wide receivers, it takes those defenders out of the box. And when you're running the 4-2-5 defense, you only have 2 linebackers sitting there ready to fill those gaps. And if you're not able to fill those gaps and the offensive line is able to get a hat on a hat, that's how Williams is able to get into the 2nd and 3rd level of this Toro defense. And don't be surprised if he rips off a big one in between guard and tackle here on this drive.
3 receivers move to the near side. They go back to Williams, and I thought it was a false start too, Corey. And there's the flag here on the near side of the Blount sideline.
To the snap, false start on the offense.
So once again, Blount is going to lose 5 yards on a false start. That'll make it 2nd and 10, I believe. I'm sorry, yeah, 2nd and 10. It was 2nd and 5 on that particular play right there.
When you know what the snap count is, again, that's one of those things that old dirty rag, Coach Santee Gamble.
That's right.
The great head coach here at Blount as well as PA announcer. They're not listening to you, Coach Gamble.
Davis takes the snap, rolls out of the pocket. Still trying to look to connect, just gonna keep it and eats it. Picks up a decent gain back to the line of scrimmage of where it was for 2nd down. So now it'll be 3rd and about 6, or maybe a long 7 here coming up for the Leopards, Corey.
Does a great job of extending the play because the defensive pressure that was being brought by Cole McConaughey, the 6'6", 220-pound sophomore, was very impressive, and Davis was able to go ahead and mash the spin button and get away from him. It's going to be a 3rd down, and we'll call it a very long 7 yards to go.
Ball sitting at the 36-yard line of Spanish Fort. Blount approaching 5 minutes of time of possession. Davis is sacked at the 45-yard line by the Toros.
And Avery Wilson finally comes up from his linebacker position, 5'10", 180-pound senior, and makes the big-time stop for the Toros, bringing up 4th down for the Blount Leopards. But in this situation here, you want to get toe to leather and find a way to flip this field because, again, you're leading on the scoreboard 14-6 with 7:09 remaining and counting down here in the 3rd quarter of action. You've opened up this half with a nice drive, but you want to make sure that you put toe to leather and flip the field here.
2 seconds on the play clock. Myron Dunklin begging for the ball to be snapped. He gets it off, and Jake Godfrey is going to fair catch it at his own 15-yard line. So Spanish Fort, their first possession here in the 3rd quarter, Corey. They get the ball at 6 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. Blount gets no points off of that long drive.
But at the same time, you're able to bleed the clock. It kept the defense on the field for a long time of the Toros. And again, this explosive Toro offense averages 31 points per game.
Sure
and
does.
only has 6 points tonight here so far. So Blount needs to make sure that they don't give up anything everything to Bird down the seam because we know that these wide receivers for the Toros are itching to get loose, and we know also Johnny Morris III can bust a big one.
And there's Morris right there. You called his name, they called his number. He falls forward maybe for a yard. I don't think they're actually going to give him credit, so we're going to call that a loss of 1 yard. 2nd and 11 coming up here for the Toros.
Terrence Campbell, 6'4", 215-pound senior, in on the stop. Now, no gain on the play, 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Bird has to make sure he doesn't turn this ball over for the Toros.
Back to Wilson they go. He gets maybe 1 or 2. It's going to be 3rd and long coming up for Spanish Fort.
Anthony Jones, the middle linebacker, 5'11", 210-pound junior on the stop. That's his 63rd solo tackle. Now you're looking at 3rd down and 8 yards to go. The Toros have the check down right here. Bird needs to make sure he doesn't go ahead and get greedy, but you look at the bottom of the screen, he has a big, tall, lanky wide receiver being guarded by Beverly.
Jake Godfrey is the team's leading receiver. They get that one out to Trayvon Reed.
He's gone.
And Reed is going to take it to the house. 20, 15, 10. No, pushed out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Caught Reed on the slant, Corey, similar to the touchdown pass he caught in the first quarter.
But that was 3rd down and 8 yards to go. You look at Bird, he knows who he wants to go to. He spins that football, throws another laser shot. You catch this man in stride, Reed knows what to do with it. Yards after catch. I thought he was going to take that and make a house call, but Blount shows their great secondary speed and are able to push him out of bounds. And here start talking about Darrell Williams, the 5'9", 150-pound senior, with great effort in the secondary, finding a way to stop him from scoring. And there's going to be an injured Blount player in the end zone.
Sure is.
Probably catching a cramp as well.
Don't forget to mark your calendars coming up Monday, October 11th. It is Teachers' Workday. There's no school for the kids. All schools will be closed except for teachers who will be reporting to work for Teacher Workday. So make sure you mark your calendar. And Corey, as I said last week, my twins had already reminded me, and they had finished all their first quarter tests, and they came home today and said, I said, what you gonna do Monday morning? We're gonna sleep in. So don't forget to mark your calendar.
Well, you're looking at a 3rd down and 8 yards to go when Spanish Fort had that explosive play. Now they're gonna hurry to the line of scrimmage here. Bird's gonna go with the empty backfield, Al, on this 1st down and goal-to-go situation.
3 receivers to the top. Gonna fake it, just keep it himself. As Blount's trying to keep him out of the end zone, he's approaching the 5-yard line. Then they're gonna spot it at the 6. 2nd and goal coming up here for the Toros.
And he's gonna be stopped by number 12 for the Blount Leopards, Terrence Campbell again. But now you're looking at 2nd down and goal to go. The man encouraging the fans to get into it and cheering for some defense. The ball's going to be spotted right at the 6-yard line of the Blount Leopards, deep in this red zone territory. Johnny Morris III or Bird, your best options.
Oh, he's definitely shifty, a smart kid. They give it on Jake Godfrey with the jet sweep. They're trying to keep him out of the end zone, but Godfrey is going to get in, I believe. That is a touchdown, 6-yard touchdown run for Jake Godfrey. And Spanish Fort inches closer to tying up the ball game.
They're going to go for 2. That's his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. That one being of the 6-yard variety. And Ben Blackman quickly signals he wants to go for 2 in this situation because he wants to tie this game up. But you look at him stretching out. All he needs is the snout of the pigskin to go across that plane, and here it is, the 2-point conversion pending, and our score is 14-12 in favor of the Leopards.
All right, the 2-point try here. Spanish Fort spreading them out in the backfield. Johnny Wilson. Godfrey goes into motion. Bird rolls to his power side, left-hander, and that pass is complete to who? Jake Godfrey for the 2-point try, and we are notched up just like that, 14-14. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
People will always use art for change. I mean, there's just something that's undeniable about the image.
You have to be willing to get dirty. It was for real as it could get.
You're lost in that moment and something remarkable happened.
There's a beauty to that, you know, it's like this discovery.
For Quentin Howard, Wade Ford, our director, Al Wheaton, Corley Bounty. On the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn, statistician, China Powell, and Matt Moore. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We are at Harris Terry Stadium, and we are tied up 14-14 as Spanish Fort and Blount are going at it in a 6A Region 1 showdown.
And if you don't think this means a lot, just look at the excitement on the Toros sideline after they scored that two-point conversion. Now what you need to see is a lot of juice and a lot of energy from the Blount Leopards sidelines, because as they went down 6-0, they were able to find some life on special teams. But now here it is in the third quarter of action with 4:42 remaining. They need some positive things to go. That was a 5-play drive for 85 yards, elapsed time 2 minutes and 5 seconds, capped off by that Godfrey 6-yard touchdown run. But that was a huge 75-yard pass that Bird had that set it up.
Sure was. Hand off to Williams. He hit behind the line of scrimmage. 4:35 remaining here in the third quarter. Don't forget, we'll have the Game of the Week Brain Buster coming up. Let Corey put on his thinking cap and see if he can get the Brain Buster question answered correctly. We'll get that question up for you momentarily. Second down and 10 here for the Blount Leopards. Triple receivers to the bottom of the screen. Blount trying to air it out. That pass is complete, fumble. Are they going to say it was a completed pass or was it incomplete? And the official saying he's down right there at the 49-yard line, Corey.
They can't review it once it is ruled complete. Nobody signaled incomplete. The officials are all looking to one another for help, but at the same time, I think it's a catch. Is it a catch off the ricochet?
That's what I was saying. Was it an actual catch? Did he complete? The official's going to discuss it. That was my concern. Did he complete a football move and actually make a catch before it popped out? And Mike Beckton and his crew says it's a catch, Corey.
I don't know if we can see that one more time because that happened bang, bang off that ricochet. Nonetheless, it does favor and benefit. Here it is right here at the end. You're looking at Davis drop back, and it is ricocheted, knocked away by the defender, and then it does hit the ground, but the officials can't see that and don't have the benefit of replay like we do. So Blount catches that break at the Toros' 49-yard line.
Great job, Charles Martin in the truck on the replay. Davis airs it out again to Ty Beverly. Beverly has been down a few times tonight, Corey, after that 75-yard pass play, Spanish Fort. He was the player in the end zone that was down, but he's still toughing it out tonight on senior night for the Leopards.
That's what he has to do. I mean, he's playing in front of his people here tonight, and senior night doesn't get any better for you to have an opportunity to upset the number 5 ranked team in 6A on your home field.
2nd and 5 for Blount in Spanish Fort territory, trying to put together a drive to answer. Throws it up top to Beverly, wide open. He gets the foot down, completes the catch. That is complete, Corey, at the 9-yard line. Ty Beverly, mama, there goes that man.
And again, he is the impact player, folks, for a reason. A nice stop-and-go route as he just freezes the cornerback. You have to love that route running ability, and even better throw by Freddie Davis on the play. He's going to put the Blount Leopards in red zone territory at the Toros' 9-yard line.
Leopard faithful getting excited and behind their team, and they're trying to get into the end zone. Williams goes into motion. They fake it. Davis going to keep it. He gets inside of the 5, still pushing forward. Let's see where they spot him at, the 2 or the 3. Which one will it be? I believe the 2-yard line, Corey.
Jalen Mason is going to get credit for that stop, but Davis just has to make sure he holds on to the football for his life.
Right.
And as the Blount Leopards are now going to be right close to the 3-yard line, it looks like this is where they're going to spot it.
I think it's closer to the 2.
Yeah, it is, because I see 2-yard markers with chalk in between, standing right on the offensive lineman. 2 yards out now are the Blount Leopards. 2nd down and goal to go.
Under 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter and under 10 seconds on the play clock. Blount needs to get this one off. They give it to Deshaun Williams. He is met right there at the 1-yard line. That looks like your guy, Jabiril Snowden, Corey.
It is. He's the nose guard, the 6'1", 260-pound senior impact player. Makes himself known, but now you're at 3rd down and goal to go at the 2-yard line. Timeout going to be called by the Blount Leopards so they can reorganize themselves. Coach Sumter and Coach Johnson going to rally the troops here at the goal line.
All right, while they take a break, we'll take a look at our Game of the Week Brain Buster question here, Corey. Let's get it up for you. Spanish Fort has a winning record against all area teams except for McGill, St. Paul's, and this MCPSS school, Corey. So there are your choices. We gave you multiple choice tonight. We know you like multiple choice. So think about that, and we'll get the question on later on, maybe between the quarter or sometime inside the 4th quarter. But we've talked about the winning program that both of these schools have, but it just floored me, Corey, when I did my research and found out Spanish Fort hadn't lost a back-to-back game since 2007. That is huge.
I mean, you're talking about since really almost the inception of the school.
That was their 2nd year, right.
So there you have it. I mean, you start off with a brand new program from start to finish, but here it is, Blount trying to finish this drive.
Sure is.
For themselves and put 6 on the scoreboard.
And they're bringing in
the 3rd quarter.
They're bringing in some beef too, Corey. And that is a touchdown.
Williams.
As Deshaun Williams just ran it into the end zone behind one of his big blockers. As I said, they were bringing in some beef.
That's a great job of getting the push and the seal block right on the edge.
Kevin Norwood, number 7, they brought in.
Yes, indeedy. He sealed the edge and allowed Williams to go ahead and find that crease, and Williams knew what to do with it, Al.
Sayon Morris on for the PAT. Morris is 2 for 2 tonight on his extra points. He skies them high, doesn't sky that one high, and it is no good. Blount on top 20-14. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
Blount has regained the lead here in this 6A Region 1 matchup. The MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week brought to you by Bishop State. Morris kicks that one up short, taken by one of the up men for Spanish Fort. They're going to get some great field position, maybe the 38 or 39-yard line with 1:21 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Now what you want to see if you're the Blount Leopards defense, feed off the band energy, the home field advantage energy. You just had an electric drive. It was big-time score for the Blount Leopards, and now if you're the Toros, you want to go ahead and get this ball to Johnny Morris III. This young man, again, has had tremendous success along with Trayvon Reed and Jacob Godfrey, showing their speed out in space. Cameron Jackson is the long wide receiver here at the bottom of the screen for the Toros, but he is being checked by Beverly in his cornerback position.
Bird fakes to the Aaron threat, and he's just bouncing off of the Blount Leopards, picks up a first down as he crosses the 50-yard line into Blount territory.
Daryl Williams, the cornerback, makes the stop, but not before Bird is able to go ahead and slither his way for a first down for the Toros. Good job. I think that's a design quarterback run. He knew he was going to go ahead and keep it and just taking what the defense gave him, was able to get great yards after contact.
Wilson not in the ball game right now, giving him a breather. As Bird looks to the sideline, Coach Ben Blackman calls the plays. He has two co-offensive coordinators, takes it out of the belly of threat, keeps it, dives over the 45-yard line. Brendan Bird, there's that Blount scoring drive right there. 7 plays, 66 yards, ate up 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Capped off by the 1-yard run by Deshaun Williams. That was the answer that Blount needed, Corey. Spanish Fort came out in the second half, let Blount eat up about 6 minutes off the clock, and they came in and scored immediately.
Well, here it is with Bird. He has the quick strike ability. He's going to try to get him off a play here before the quarter ends. And here it is, Bird's going to go ahead and bounce it to the outside to his running back.
That's Threat there. Threat picks up another first down. That's 2 first downs back-to-back for the Toros as they run and push farther into Leopard territory.
Well, we're going to have a great fourth quarter of action. If you're not tuned in, you need to tell all your friends and family to get to the MCPSS television network and watch this fantastic finish of fourth quarter action here at Harris Terry Stadium.
Hand off the Threat once again. Threat goes to the left, up the middle. That's another first down. It's going to take us to the end of the third quarter with Blount on top 20-14 over the 5th-ranked Spanish Fort Toros. So we have a break in action, Corey. Let's put up our Brain Buster Game of the Week question. So Spanish Fort has a winning record against all area teams except McGill-Tulane, St. Paul's, and this MCPSS high school. Corey, who do you think it is?
I'm going to go with the Viger Wolves because they played some tremendous battles, and that's all that I can think about in my brain. Spanish Fort and Viger getting it done here in the late 2000s.
Okay.
You know, that's going to be my answer. I'm going to go with Viger.
We'll get Miss Diane to hit the button. And yes, Viger is 7-4 against Spanish Fort. And Corey, you're a very smart guy. The reason is Viger and Spanish Fort used to play when Spanish Fort was a 5A team.
Well, not only that, they've met several times in the playoffs also, if I'm not mistaken, and that allows you to get bonus or plus 1 games.
Right.
In 5A games, plus 1 games is what I like to call it, and you have an opportunity to play them in the regular season and then see them in the postseason down the line. So even if you lost to them in the regular season, you may have had an opportunity to have that clean sweep too, but here at Harris Terry Stadium, folks, 12 minutes to go. Can the Blount Leopards give Ben Blackman and the Toros back-to-back losses?
For the first time since 2007, Corey. And good job on the Brain Buster, Corey. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
We know you like multiple choice as well, too.
I love it.
Bird is not brought down. He's still running, still keeping those legs churning inside of the red zone. Let's see where they're going to actually spot him at. I believe his forward progress stopped at about the 16-yard line.
Well, that's something that you have to do if you're Bird. You're finding a way to go ahead and put this team on your back. You just want to make sure that you hold on to that football because, again, the can opener drill is being done by these Blount defenders to where they're going to try to rip the football away. But you're not going to be able to tackle Bird high. You're going to have to tackle him low because this young man has tremendous strength in his upper body.
Well, I heard a smart man tell me one time, Corey, to kill a horse, you got to chop the legs out.
Absolutely.
I think that's what he said. So, and speaking of the legs, into the end zone on a 15-yard run goes Johnny Wilson, and now Spanish Fort has regained the lead.
Johnny Morris III gets a big-time rushing touchdown for the Toros, and they're looking to go ahead and take the lead here with this extra point as the Toros struck first and missed their opening extra point, and now they're having an opportunity. They had a 2-point conversion. That's why they're having an opportunity to score their 21st point here in this second half of action of this 6A Region 1 contest.
They brought in a different kicker, Cameron Life, number 81, on to kick the extra point, and boy, he boots it through, Corey. So Spanish Fort on top, 21-20. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose.
Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Corey got a correction there. That was Cameron Little with the extra point. I said Cameron Life. So maybe Coach Blackman saw something and decided to go with Little as he takes Bro out of the ball game, as they are on top 21-20.
Here it is, the Spanish Fort Toros having that 1-point advantage now. The Blount Leopards, can they answer offensively?
Cale Smith with the kick return up to the 43-44 yard line. Blount screaming for a face mask. They don't get the flag. Speaking of Blount, his great heritage, take a look at some of the guys who've made the NFL coming out of Blount High School. Many of those names familiar to you. Derek Burrow, Sherman Williams right there, bottom left corner. Won a high school championship, college championship, and a Super Bowl as well, Corey. Can't forget Damian Craig. I know he's been doing some coaching for some years. Alonzo Johnson as well, offense coordinator. Kadarius Toney, first-round draft pick, playing right now for the New York Giants.
I remember him coming up here to join us on a
true.
broadcast
He sure did.
his freshman year at Florida, and the success that they're having now. Interception almost being thrown by Freddie Davis.
Trying to connect with Myron Dunklin. And I believe the Mason Hickson line jumped the route, Corey. Try to get in there to try to get an interception, but some of the great NFL players some of the great players on Blount played in the NFL. There's your scoring drive right there. 5 play, 85 yards, only took 2 minutes and 5 seconds. And Godfrey, actually that score was by Johnny Morris, not Godfrey. 1 yard run by Johnny Morris. 2nd and 10 here coming up for the Leopards. Spanish Fort all in the backfield. They just blew that play up.
That play didn't have a chance from the beginning, and it's a situation to where just get to the huddle and play the next play. You can't drop your head. You lost negative yardage in that situation. 3rd down and 15 yards to go. But if you're Blount, you don't want to press. You just want to continue to take what the Toros are giving you defensively. You had success with Dunklin out in the flat along with Beverly, letting them make their moves. Make these cornerbacks from Spanish Fort defend you.
Ty Beverly, lone receiver here on the near side. Play clock under 10 seconds. And that ball is out. Freddie Davis fumbles it. Don't know if a hand got in and knocked it out, but he jumps back on top of it. That could have been costly for the Leopards, but more costly, Corey, that brings up 4th down.
But there is a flag on the play on the far sidelines. The official did throw a yellow flag, and just great job of the Toros collapsing that pocket, making Freddie Davis roll it. And on the far sidelines, we'll see what this flag is all about.
On the replay, it looks like Davis just lost the grip on the ball. Mike Beckton pointing towards Spanish Fort.
On defense.
So there's a face mask right there.
That will make you drop the football. If you get birdcage on the play, but now instead of 3rd down and 15, looks like it's going to be just 3rd down and close to 14 yards now.
So just the 5-yard variety incidental face mask. So the Leopards get another life here.
I like the 4 wide receiver set, though.
4 at the top, empty set for Davis. Play clock at 10 seconds, and they bring the house. No one to block the Toros, 3 of them led by Jabril Snowden, and some of those backers coming in as well. Cole McConaughey, Corey, as they take Davis down and sack him for a big loss.
You pick a number in that situation. You knew they were coming. The bull rush or the Toro rush, you knew was going to be in effect, and that's just a great job of the Toros hunkering down defensively and coming away with that stop. Looks like Urrell Williams led that charge.
Wow. You're right. Just pick a number, Corey.
Exactly. It's almost like the gates were opened up for them to go ahead and have that bull rush. And
it made me wonder if Blount was trying to set up a screen of some sort.
You would hope so.
But immediately they were on Freddie Davis immediately.
Another timeout is going to have to be called here by the Blount Leopards.
So they've gone through 2 timeouts. So Blount has 1 timeout remaining at 9:01 left in the ball game, down 1 point to Spanish Fort. And the Blount side has gotten very quiet as the Toros on the far side. They're making some noise. Got to thank Firehouse Subs for everything that they're doing. Jim and Susie Sherman taking care of us with the eats every week. So stop by their Greenlight Road location and make sure you show them some love at Firehouse Subs. Also, BSN Sports. Tonight we're rocking the pink polos, Corey, so we got to thank them for the apparel they're hooking us up and also the squad with as well. So if you need some apparel for all your sports, check out BSN Sports, the heart of the game. And also Bishop State, 4 city campuses, and they offer students affordable and quality education. Visit bishop.edu. Bishop State, a great place to start. Jake Godfrey running away from that one. Looks like the Toros are going to start this drive at their own 34-yard line on top, 21-20. Al Weed and Corley Bounty on the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn for this big 6A Region 1 ball game. It's big for both schools tonight. Spanish Fort only lost 1 game this season to Saraland last week, and Blount trying to recuperate on a 2-game winning streak, but they want to get this region win. They control their own destiny. They don't want to have to go through any tiebreakers or need any help at the end of the season to get in.
Well, it's desperation time for the Blount Leopards, and right here the defense is going to have to find a way to have a must stop with 8:52 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Birds trying to go ahead and direct traffic and find ways to milk this clock for the Toros.
They send Cooper Wilson in motion. He's blocking for Johnny Morris. Morris gets up to the 45. That's another 1st down.
A couple of things. If you go back and look at that replay, look at the start-stop ability of the running back, Johnny Morris, because he absolutely froze the Blount defender in the hole and was able to get 10 yards after his start and stop move. Again, first fresh set of downs for the Toros on this drive.
Morris just to the left. They give it to him. He fumbles it.
And
does he get back on it? It looks like Blount may have it. That could be our first turnover tonight, Corey.
The turnover by the Toros.
And the officials are signaling Blount football off the Johnny Morris fumble.
And really, when you start to look at it, great job by the Blount defense getting into the backfield, and that's going to be defensive lineman Kevin Norwood, the defensive tackle, 6'1", 283-pound sophomore. Gets a little energy, comes off the sidelines looking for high fives, and that's what the type of juice and energy that you need now for Alonzo Johnson and this offense, because now you're able to go ahead with the ball being spotted right at the 43-yard line of the Toros. You're able to get your running game started on 1st down with Williams.
Blount gets another life here. Freddie Davis going to keep it, takes it out the belly, and the Toros trying to rip it out of there, but he holds on to it tight. Picks up about 1 yard on the carry.
Tyshawn Calvin on the stop for the Toros, but he does get that right back to the line of scrimmage, and they may give him a half a yard gain, but when you start looking at what you're able to do on first down if you're Blount, you want to be able to run the football or have some type of successful play action. You were able to score the touchdown earlier by dumping it down to Darrell Davis in the slot.
Davis looks to throw, trying to get it to Ty Beverly, and that ball is knocked down by Spanish Ford.
Great defense.
Great defense there, Corey.
Over there on the far sidelines. When you start looking at the timing, Davis was able to put the ball on the money, but an even better knockaway.
Mario Montgomery, Corey.
I love that defense by Montgomery. 6 foot, 175-pound senior comes up from his cornerback position, brings up now 3rd down and 9 yards to go. Go ahead and roll this pocket. If you're the Blount Leopards, give your quarterback an opportunity to survey your wide receivers coming back to the football.
Davis needs to get out of trouble. He does. Dumps over to Myron Dunklin. No, incomplete. Dunklin almost brought it in. He would have been close to the first down marker. 7:27, 1 timeout remaining for Blount.
And I really thought he might have tucked it and tried to run it, but he did see Dunklin out the corner of his eye, kind of a shovel pass almost to him that would have had enough yardage for the first down. But
and Coach Sumter burns his last time out, Corey. They want to talk about this one. They want to draw up, I guess, the right play to get this first down. 4th and 9 coming up here for the Blount Leopards. Don't forget, Monday, October 11th, Teachers Work Day, so make sure you mark your calendar. Teachers will be reporting to work for Teachers Work Day, but all schools will be closed for the students. So mark your calendar, October 11th, Teachers Work Day. Next week, we're going to have another great region matchup. It'll be Williamson versus Viger next Friday, Corey. We're going to take it back to Lad People Stadium. So make sure you join us for the pregame kickoff show at 6:50. I'm looking forward to this one. That one's going to be real nice next week.
Well, you know, when you start talking about these two historic schools battling for a region crown,
right,
we've seen some wonderful games played between these two schools, and look forward to seeing the outcome and the enthusiasm behind this high school football game.
That should be a nice one. All right, Blount out of timeouts at 7:27 here in the 4th quarter. See what type of play Coach Sumter and Alonzo Johnson is drawn up here. Davis has time. Throws across the middle to Ty Beverly. Is it incomplete? They're saying
it's a catch.
They're saying it's a catch, Corey.
They say it's a catch, and it's going to be right at the sticks.
I mean, literally right at the sticks.
They give them the catch, and we have the benefit of replay. Davis knew he wanted to go into the slot, and they're going to say now it is incomplete.
Whoa, and Blount is livid. The coaches cannot believe it. They are saying it is an incomplete pass. Just as I was about to look at it, Corey, my monitor went out in front of me.
I don't know if we're able to run that back one more time.
We can run it back once again, Charles.
He steps into the pocket.
Boo birds are out. Now, that wasn't the angle. It was the original angle.
Right here, we'll get a good look at it as to whether he was able to trap the football or not. Looking like it did hit the ground first. And
yeah,
it did.
right there.
It did hit the ground first. So that is an outstanding call by this officiating crew. 1st and 10 Toros from their own 43.
Great work by a camera crew as well. Johnny Morris on the run again. Flag comes out.
It's going to come back.
That's going to be a hole. We could see that one where they threw the flag at, Corey.
Yeah, they absolutely went ahead and tackled Terrence Campbell, the defensive end, who was about to make that tackle, and it will cost the Toros yardage.
So that will be costly. Spot foul here coming up.
Holding on. Repeat first.
So just as I thought we were going to hear Mike Beckton, he's kind of intermittent once again, Corey.
Well, you know it's definitely a penalty against the Toros, and that's going to back them up, looks like, to their own 35-yard line now. And if you're Blount, you just want to make sure that here, when they lose all these negative yards, that you don't go ahead and get a penalty called against you either. And you have to wrap up and tackle, because Bird and Morris can make people miss.
Morris goes up the middle. Just hits a log jam of Leopards right there. 2nd and long coming up for Spanish Fort. Blount cannot stop the clock with timeouts anymore. They are out as we are under 7 minutes, down 1 point.
Well, that's a good stop if you're Blount now, because now you're putting the Toros in a situation to where they are right at their own 39-yard line, facing 2nd down and 14.5 yards to go. Just have to wrap up and not let anything get behind you.
Bird
like that.
Throws across the middle. Wilson wide open on their wheel route, just pushes the Blount defender out of the way as he takes it to the house.
That was
Cooper Wilson, the tight end, touchdown for Spanish Fort.
That is the most wicked stiff arm you will see in football, folks. That should make top 10 SportsCenter-wise. Watch him absolutely decimate the Blount defender. I mean, just absolutely puts him in the weight room, uses him as a rack, and goes ahead and scores a huge Toro touchdown from 35 yards out. And that is just strength from the tight end and 6 foot, 210 pounds, making a way for the Toros to take the lead.
Little on for the PAT. And that one will be no good. So the score 27-20. Boy, it's really good now. 6:15 remaining in this ball game. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
We welcome you back to Harris Terry Stadium. Spanish Fort extends their lead 27-20 over Blount. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Al Weed and Corey LeBounty. Corey, Blount still has opportunity. 6:15 remaining. They're not out of this by any means.
Only down 1 score, and we've seen the explosiveness of this Blount offense, but that's a live football that they have to fall on top of first. And it's going to be right down to the 1-yard line.
Special teams miscue right there.
That's Darrell Williams, I do believe.
That is Darrell Williams.
Who was not able to handle that kickoff, and that's going to put you deep, deep in your own territory. Looks like the ball's going to be marked at the Leopard 2-yard line. So now, again, the Leopards don't want to self-destruct. 6:09, as you mentioned, Al, plenty of time remaining here in the 4th quarter. And how do you go ahead and methodically march down the field? By not getting penalties and go ahead and executing your offensive strategy. And that's a good dose of Deshaun Williams getting past the line of scrimmage. And that's all it takes for this young man to make a house call.
Getting into that 2nd level. So the ball is on the 1-yard line. They give it, looks like, to Williams as he goes into the middle close to the 5. I think they'll spot him at the 4.
Williams on the pass for the Leopard. Pick up of 2 to 3 yards. We're about 2nd of 7.
And Al, I just want to go back to that stiff arm again. That was amazing to me.
It was something else, wasn't it?
And again, how do you kill a horse? You have to tackle him low, but it was just a matter of angles, and now Blount has a deep angle in their own territory. They're going to go vertical down the field. It's going to be a little bit overthrown, but that shows the arm strength of this quarterback for the Blount Leopards and Freddie Davis as he threw that ball 50 yards. But now you're putting yourself in 3rd down and 7 yards to go up against your own 5-yard line.
There's a scoring drive right there. Cooper Wilson with that 45-yard touchdown reception. 3 plays, 57 yards. as Spanish Fort gets back on the board to extend their lead.
Most important play of the game right here for the Blount Leopards.
Very huge. Davis needs to get rid of that, throws it over the middle, but we have flags coming in. Wonder if this may be a hold, Corey. Or could it be some PI? Let's see. They're pointing to the Spanish Fort side.
And if it's against Spanish Fort, that's huge.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's enough to pick up the first down or not, but.
So holding against Spanish Fort. So maybe they were tying up one of the receivers there.
But again, what you have to look at is here you're going to hold the wide receiver. I think Dunklin is going to be held right there at the bottom of the screen. So Dunklin has that big explosive playability, and that's who Freddie Davis wanted to go to. But it is going to be enough to pick up an automatic first down.
Move the sticks. That gets Blount.
And still plenty of time. But what you emphasized, Al, no timeouts remaining for the Blount Leopards.
No timeouts.
But, again, it's not a 2-minute offense. It's a 5-minute offense to where you can methodically march down the field here and tie this game up.
Get a good dose of Deshaun Williams.
Or Ty Beverly.
Or Ty Beverly, one of the two. That pass complete to Ty Beverly as we talk about him. Picks up about 4 yards on the play.
It's a good stop by the Spanish Fort defender.
The game clock has stopped for some reason, Corey. Oh, there's a flag on the play. Right at the 10-yard line. 2 flags, as a matter of fact. Mike Becton and his crew getting plenty work tonight.
On the defense.
Offsetting
unsportsmanlike conduct, so. Looks like we'll get a do-over, Corey.
Well, if you're the Blount Leopards, you still have an opportunity to find your mismatches for your offensive players. And where are those mismatches? Cartel Washington also has great speed in the slot for the Blount Leopards. He's just going to have to continue to finish his route. And if Davis locks in on him, then you're going to be in great shape. I think they're going to go ahead and walk both of them off.
I think they're about to walk them off and then see what the difference will be, because the down marker still says first down. They just flipped it to second down. All right. So Mike Becton and his crew discussing it. Right now the ball is
They went ahead and gave them the yards, and then the penalties did offset. That's the only way you can gain positive yardage, for the penalties to go ahead and walk it off. And we're going to get our explanation here, as it looks like it's going to be second down and
second and about
6.
I'm saying about 6 yards, Corey.
But again, I like the slot wide receiver, Cartel Washington. And I think Ben Blackman's over there giving the officials an earful.
Ben Blackman is called timeout right here at 5:02 remaining in the ball game. I think he wants more than an explanation if he can, basically, at this point.
Absolutely. He wants to know exactly what's going on in that situation. But, you know, when you start looking at this great football game, 27-20, Blount does have plenty of time to march down this field. And they have plenty of explosive weapons, because what happens if you start to dink and dunk to Myron Dunklin or to Ty Beverly, or pop it to the outside to Darrell Davis, then that opens up the hole for Deshaun Williams, where they've had success. And you still have plenty of time to grind this clock all the way down to 000s, if you like, with Deshaun Williams running the football, so you don't have to abandon it. And that's what Ben Blackman wants to know.
He wants that explanation, Corey, as to what's really going on right now.
He wants to know what's the spot. I'm reading his lips over there.
So at this point in the game, Corey, 5 minutes remaining. Who are you kind of thinking about for your career tech education player of the game? Who's coming to mind for you? I'm going to say on both sides of the ball tonight.
That's a tough one. I think that Trayvon Reed has had a good one for Spanish Fort. I think Jacob Godfrey has had a good one. I think Brendan Bird has had a good one.
Brendan Bird sure has.
Those three right there, Toro-wise. And when you start talking about the Blount Leopards, there's that swing pass, and that's going to be a lateral.
That's a live ball. That is a live ball, Corey.
And it's still live, and the Toros are having it.
The Toros are on it.
At the 1 yard line, the Toros do pounce on it.
That was a backwards pass, and I think Blount was getting ready to set up for a possible double pass. They were trying to get it out to Deshaun Williams, and he could not bring it in. Here's a shot right there. And he's, oh my goodness.
Too late, I mean, because that's a live football, and he wasn't able to pounce on top of it. But what a huge break the Toros now have. 4:47, that is a momentum swinging play, as we saw special teams go Blount's way in the first half.
Sure did.
This was a turnover that has gone Spanish Fort's way in the second half. Now they're knocking at the door, trying to take a 2-score advantage here with 4:47 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Corey, I'm thinking this ball will not leave Brendan Bird's hand right now. As he fakes it, goes right up the middle. Touchdown for Brendan Bird. Don't give it to anyone else. Don't risk a fumble. Just march in for the touchdown. Easy peasy.
Right like you said, Al, best bet is what you call. Give it to your quarterback, Bird. You've had success with the quarterback draw all night. Bird continues to add to his statistics from an offensive standpoint, and now Brendan Bird has his 5th rushing touchdown of the season for the Spanish Fort Toros, and they take a 33-20 lead now over the Blount Leopards with 4:44 remaining and the point after pending. But if you're the Blount Leopards, you can't drop your head, because plenty can happen here with 4:44 remaining.
Little's kick is up for the extra point, and it is good. We'll meet you on the other side of this break. Spanish Fort on top, 34-20. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
I'm Tracy Tran, and I'm in the Healthcare and Dental Academy at Theodore High School. In the Dental Academy, I'm working alongside dental professionals getting hands-on training from those already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job makes me want to work even harder, because now I know what I want to be.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. To find out more, visit mcpss.com.
We welcome you back to Harris Terry Stadium. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Spanish Fort capitalizes right there on the Blount miscue, Corey, as Brendan Bird takes it in for the touchdown. That's accounted for his 3rd touchdown tonight. He's thrown for 2 and run for 1. And with that score, Spanish Fort, Corey, has hit their scoring average tonight.
And they were short, and one of the things that Blount put them in that bad situation was the special teams miscue in regards to how they fielded the kickoff. And they were able to kind of dig themselves out of that hole with that penalty that was assessed against the Toros. But anytime you go to a lateral pass deep in your own territory, you have to know that it is a lateral, and that's a live ball, a live lateral. You have to not worry about dropping the football. You have to worry about getting on top of the football. And because of it, it set up short yardage situations for the Toros. But again, the Blount Leopards have the explosiveness and the offensive weapons here to strike from where the ball is being spotted. Looks like right, if I'm not mistaken,
looks
right
like
at the 15-yard line.
15-yard line. Down 2 scores, 4:44 remaining. Blount out of timeouts. I think we're going to see a quick aerial assault here to try to get a quick touchdown and possibly try to set up for an onside kick. That pass incomplete as he tried to get it out to his receiver, Cartel Washington. 2nd down and 10 here for the Leopards.
But now it's 2nd down and 10. You don't want to be pass. And now on 4th down, you're having to punt the football away. And the biggest thing for the Blount Leopards is to try to continue to pick up first downs to where the clock stops if you do pick up the first down.
Deshaun Williams in the backfield with Freddie Davis. That pass incomplete, had his hands on it. Darrell Davis scored one earlier in the ball game, but couldn't haul that one in, Corey. 3rd down and 10.
Big time stop by Andre Hunt, the 6'2", 215-pound senior. Now you're looking at 3rd down and 10 yards to go, to where you know this is a passing situation. These next 2 downs are definitely passing situations for the Blount Leopards, because if you run some type of draw, the clock is still running, or screen pass, the clock is still going to be running until you get past the sticks.
That pass complete, caught on the slant and brought down at about the 35-yard line. Cartel Washington stops the clock, moves the chains. First down, Blount.
He's the speedster for the Blount Leopards, and I would go right back to him again until the cornerback comes up and makes the adjustments defensively, because until Freddie Davis, as long as he doesn't stare down his wide receiver, Spanish Fort is giving up these wide receivers enough room to whether they can pick up the first down. The Toros are debating whether they want to bring the house or whether they want to cover.
That was great blocking by the Blount offensive line. Gave Davis time to find Washington. Rolls out to his left. And they're coming at him, Corey, like you said, bringing the house. Jabril Snowden puts him to the ground. Davis sacked for a big loss.
And that is a big-time loss. And you knew that they were going to bring the house, but Snowden comes from his nose tackle, nose guard position and makes that stop. Not before the defensive pressure was deep in the backfield. Also, looks like William Anderson created havoc in the backfield. Also, 2nd down and long to go, but Blount has no timeouts, has to have a sense of urgency. Freddie Davis does not need to stare down his wide receiver and throw an interception here. He has the ability to get it to his wide receivers who can step out of bounds.
Clock still running.
That's a lateral as well.
High to Cartel Washington. That's a live ball.
They're going to say it's incomplete. It looked like a lateral to me, because where the line of scrimmage was looked like he threw it backwards. So you have to be careful. Just one possession ago, Blount gave up that touchdown because they allowed the Toros to get it at the 1-yard line. But now with 3:19 remaining here in the 4th quarter, Blount looking at 3rd down and close to 18 yards to go.
That stopped the clock, that incompletion. Third and long for the Leopards. Davis has time. Oh, and up the middle comes Jabril Snowden, helped out by Cole McConaughey. Corey, they wrapped him up, but a flag on the play.
And I think that's going to probably be a face mask.
I think it might be as well. But did you see the closing speed of Snowden there as he came in?
He gets into that backfield now. He's an impact player, and he just wraps him up high and grabs him by the helmet right underneath his chin strap almost. And Ben Blackman's
that's the
not
big one.
happy about it.
Face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So that's the 3rd face mask penalty against Spanish Fort tonight, but they get hit for the big one right here, Corey. That's 15 yards on a 1st down.
Going to bring up 4th down and 10 yards to go. 4th and 10.
So not a 1st down, 4th down.
Let's see where they're going to spot this football.
3rd and 10 for the Leopards.
So 3rd and 10, there we go. After the 15 yards is walked off, 10 yards still remains.
Down marker across the field does say 3rd down. 3rd down.
Still says 3rd down.
Right at 10. Blount still has plenty of time with 3:08 remaining to go ahead and get these out routes to the sidelines, but don't need to stay in bounds. Find a way to get out of bounds if you're the wide receivers.
Davis connects with Myron Dunklin. Dunklin needs to get out of bounds. I know he's trying to get those yards, but you got to get that clock to stop. They're going to say he's out of bounds at the 36 of Spanish Fort.
Plenty of time out.
And there's a Spanish Fort player down on the far side of the field, Corey.
And you look at Freddie Davis doing a good job of going through his progression, stepping up in the pocket, letting the ball fly to Myron Dunklin, the 5'11", 190-pound sophomore, was able to stiff arm one defender who took a bad angle and was able to get out of bounds. And we do have that Toro timeout on the far sideline.
Trayvon Reed. Trayvon Reed was the player that was down, but I believe Coach Blackman called for the timeout, Corey. So they have 2 remaining. Blount is out of timeouts. So 2:49 remaining here in the contest. Blount needs to score quick to get the ball back to try to possibly score again. Next week, we're going to take it to legendary Lab People Stadium. We'll return there for a 4A Region 1 matchup. It'll be Williamson versus Viger. Viger undefeated in region play, undefeated overall, and looking like this will possibly decide who's going to be the #1 seed in 4A Region 1. So make sure you join us at 6:50 next Friday. Williamson versus Viger. Last year, Corey, they met, and Viger beat Williamson. And we had Williamson the following week. They beat Mobile Christian to actually win the region title. But Viger made the playoffs last year.
Absolutely. They catapulted themselves out of that game with a lot of momentum going into halftime, to where they threw that Hail Mary that I'll never forget at Lab People Stadium. And it's a situation now to where it's going to be a great game next Friday night at Lab People Stadium. A great game here at Harris Terry Stadium here in Pritchard also.
Blount down 14 points, no timeouts, 2:49 remaining here in the ball game. Pass complete to Ty Beverly.
But now you have to hurry up and get to the line of scrimmage.
Got to play tempo.
Now you have to know you have to have 2 calls back to back and know what you're going to call very quickly, because if you don't get out of bounds, you cannot waste over 25 seconds, and you can't jump off sides and have a false start here either.
Ty Beverly hauls it in. One of the Toros defenders went for the interception and missed it. That's going to move the sticks. Blount inside of the red zone, stops the clock momentarily.
And as they're getting ready to spot that football, looks like it's going to be close to the 13-yard line.
13 to 14.
We'll call it the 13-yard line. The clock doesn't start until they spot the football. Now it's running, and Blount needs to hurry. You can have a draw here, but you would rather pass the ball to the boundaries and get out of bounds.
Here's a snap to Davis. They're bringing the blitz. Goes over to trying to reach to Darrell Davis. Cornerback saying, I didn't do anything. Jalen Mason pleading, but I think he's going to be caught with some hands in the cookie jar, Corey.
Absolutely, that's pass interference, as you have to turn your head and make a play on the football. Freddie Davis does a good job of trying to put it to the corner of the end zone, but anytime you have that one hand on the shoulder, you know, you have your principal in the end zone asking for the pass.
Jerome Wood stood up immediately, didn't he, Corey?
They're able to get that pass interference call, and it's going to be probably half the distance of the goal.
And it will be half the distance. Having some audio problems with Mike Beckton's.
Right at the 8-yard line.
Spotted at the 8-yard line. Looks like Blount will still be able to pick up the first down, Corey.
Now it's at the 7-yard line, so they are having an opportunity to get a first and goal to go, but they want to score quickly here.
So it's first down and about 3 yards to go. We'll go with the 7-yard line.
Shifting formation. Williams is now the quarterback. And there's going to be a timeout. Good timeout over on the far sideline.
Kind of like a wildcat formation here for the Leopards. And Ben Blackman said, hold up.
I like that timeout call by the Toros, because the Blount Leopards changed their offensive formation. Freddie Davis was in the shotgun position, and then his running back, Deshaun Williams, switches over to the wildcat position. And you know, with 1:54 remaining here, again, we mentioned Blount had plenty of opportunities and time here in this contest to go and drive the length of the field, as they took over with maybe 5:54 remaining. And they've had a nice drive that has been aided by some penalties, but some progressive plays by the offense also. Now, if you're able to score right here, you have to immediately have your special teams hands on deck, because you don't have any timeouts remaining. That's what's important for the Blount Leopards. They have 0 timeouts remaining.
They are out of timeouts. And we saw that formation earlier in the first half of the contest. They put Freddie Davis outside and brought him in motion and had Deshaun Williams. And then when Williams ran that touchdown, you had Kevin Norwood in there. Right now, that's the same formation, Corey.
I like Norwood. You got to go to the strong side of the field with Norwood.
Bringing the beef.
Bring somebody in motion here on some type of jet sweep to the left side, short side of the field.
So right now, Spanish Fort and Blount out of timeouts. Myron Dunklin running into the field.
That football being placed on the left hash.
Blunt sticking with this Wildcat formation straight to Deshaun Williams. He's trying to pick a hole to run through. Looks like he may have enough. He may be 1 yard short of the first down. But the clock is ticking, so Blunt needs to move quickly. Freddie Davis running on the field now.
You have to quickly go ahead and get on top of this football. They're spotting the football at the 5-yard line. The clock is continuing to run.
Clock is running, Corey.
So now you have to go ahead and, in this goal-to-goal situation, you have a chance to throw this football here before you get the first down, because it's 2nd down and 2 yards to go before you get a 1st and goal to go. So that's important here. Get the first if you need to.
Not good clock management here by the Leopards. Davis rolling out, trying to set up some type of screen in the back corner. Could not reach Cartel Washington. We are at 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining here in the contest. And Corey, I didn't tell you earlier, but I still smelled the barbecue from the folks on the Blunt Leopards. They've been cooking up all night long, man, tailgating.
They definitely know how to tailgate. And here with it being senior night, you're having an opportunity for people to come and enjoy this festive atmosphere that a high school football provides. And 3rd down and 2 yards to go, you want to go ahead and get this football to Williams. Let your big O-line go ahead and push forward for 2 yards. It's weight room on weight room. Whose weight room is going to be the biggest? Because Spanish Ford has close to 8 in the box.
Davis going to keep it. He gingerly kind of strolls, Corey, and I don't think that's even a gain.
4th and 2 yards to go. It is not a goal to gain. You cannot.
And the clock is running. The clock is running.
You know, if you were going to clock it, you probably needed to clock it on 2nd down. Now you're just looking with no timeouts remaining. You cannot clock the football. You can still get a 1st down, but again, you mentioned it, some 50 seconds have elapsed off of this clock. It's do or die time right here for the Blunt Leopards in the red zone.
Davis taking his time. Has enough to get the 1st down.
Gets the touchdown.
That's a touchdown to Myron Dunklin at 24.5 seconds remaining. Jabril Snowden absolutely frustrated, beating the turf from his defensive tackle position.
He thought he had the sack, and that's just Freddie Davis keeping it alive. Good job of keeping his head up, using his feet, and nice stiff arm, and he just flicks that football with one arm to Myron Dunklin, and Dunklin comes away with a big-time touchdown reception, his 2nd receiving touchdown of the season for the Blunt Leopards, and here it is.
It looks like they're going for 2. I thought they would kick the extra point, down 14 points, but they're going to go for 2 on the 2 try here, Corey.
They're making it all do or die. Right here's that same formation to where you go ahead and move Freddie Davis into the wide receiver slot.
Put him in motion. And he faked the snap, give it to Ty Beverly.
And the line is still pushing, but I don't think it's going to be a yard short.
That try is no good. So I don't know if the Leopards may have out-thunked themselves on that one, Corey. Down 34-20. I thought they would have just gone for the extra point. That would have made them down 7 points at that point and get an onside kick and try to tie the game, you know.
It's one of those Lane Kiffin type calls to where you're going to gamble and you're not going to play analytics in that situation. The analytics say you go ahead and kick the extra point, but the coaching card in you says I want to go ahead and find a way to go for 2 in that situation. Now here's the onside kick. You know, a lot has to happen here correctly for the Blunt Leopards with 24.5 seconds remaining. With them to get the onside kick, the Good Hands team is on the field for the Toros, but if you get the onside kick, then you have to find a way to score also. So really, all the pressure is on the Blunt Leopards right now on this onside kick.
And Corey, you talking about tough stuff. Spanish Ford has brought in quarterback Brendan Bird. Jake Godfrey, the ball has to go 10 yards.
And it died after going. It died
after 3 or 4.
Right, maybe 4 yards. And if that's the case, the Toros will take over and take a knee and then be able to take a critical.
And it appears if that's going to be the case as they meet on the other side of the field. 34-26, Spanish Fort in control. Take a look at our Career Tech Education Player of the Game. We saw him out on the field right there, Corey, for the onside kick. Brendan Bird, the junior quarterback, accounted for 3 touchdowns tonight. He ran the last one in, but he threw 2 earlier into the contest. I told you, he kind of reminds me of Bo Nix up there at Auburn, man. Real gritty player, smart guy, moves around, tries to make a lot of things happen. Keeps the play going, keeps it alive.
Well, that's exactly what you have to do, and the Toros are not going to lose back-to-back games for the first time since 2007. They're going to find a way to keep themselves alive here and are going to come away 34-26 winners over the Blount Leopards in this outstanding 6A Region 1 matchup here at Harris Terry Stadium in Pritchard, Alabama.
Spanish Fort will host Citronelle next week. Then they're going to host McGill, and they'll be at Daphne to finish the season. And Blount is going to go on the road for their last 2 ball games as they'll face McGill and Gulf Shores, and they have a bye the last week of the season. This is their last home game, as we told you, senior night. They put up a valiant effort, Corey, but had a lot of mental miscues, a lot of lack of concentration in the end. It bit the Leopards tonight.
Well, you start talking about a situation where the Blount Leopards turned the football over on that swing lateral pass, and the big-time stiff arm that led to the touchdown for the Toros, but no quit in this Leopard team.
Next week, we're taking it to Lab People Stadium. We'll have Williamson versus Viger, so make sure you join us at 6:50 p.m. as we return to legendary Lab People Stadium. That's going to wrap it up for us here tonight at Harris Terry Stadium. For Corley Bound and Kimberly Dunn, our producer Quentin Howard, Director Wade Forrest, statistician China Powell, and Matt Moore. I'm Al Whedon, thanking you for joining us. Another edition of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.